Hey, good morning, JDS. Dreiser, how you doing? From Germany. John 658. Good morning, good morning. Let's see. Gotta try to find your channel there, Dreiser. Oh, nice. So 175 subscribers, 59 videos. Hey, guys, I just supported your channel. I gave you a blue wrench. Okay. Oops. Starting to spell bad already this morning. Okay, Ask Our Studios, no problem. Hey, Matthew, how you doing? Micro Ghost, Blind Neil. Riser, I gave you a blue wrench. This is Riser's link. I'll put it there if I can. Brain's not functioning as fine, right? There you go. Yo, Codger, hope you're doing good. 658. Yes, yes. Good morning to everybody. JDS, Blind Neil, Ask Guy Studios. Live chat. Hey, Phantom Hodges, how you doing? Can't remember if I sent you a link or not this morning, Paul. I'll send you one just in case. Paul. There, I sent you a link. So everybody check out Riser Bua. He's from Germany, so check out his channel. I put his link in there, so I can check out his link. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey, Roger.
How's it doing today?
Yeah, not bad, I guess. It's Friday, I guess, eh?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think we're going to the trailer again later on, but we'll see.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
today is Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, we might head down about 3 o'clock or so. Can't go too early because, might have signs to do.
Okay. There we go.
Hey,
Morning,
Huey.
Good morning, Paul. Nobody calls me Huey but my mama.
Well, I'm not your mama.
No, you are not my mama.
Hey, Chrissy. Good morning.
Good morning, Chrissy. You got Chrissy and JDS on? That's funny.
How'd they manage that?
Oh, no.
Guys, I got a question for you. When you're on YouTube now, did you darken your page on YouTube or you got them only on in white?
What was that again?
On YouTube, you had two choices to keep your page all white or you can darken it.
Oh.
Me, I had it dark yesterday, and for some reason, okay, Matthew, for some reason, it all went to white. Now I can't find a bloody way to turn it back to black.
I don't think I've ever seen that option.
Oh, I had it. I had that option. I was always in black mode for the YouTube.
Where do you
Lot
find the
easier.
option?
A lot easier. I don't know where I found it now. I can't find it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never seen it.
Well, I know on my laptop, I changed the contrast on it and went black, but that's for everything.
Yeah. Okay, for everything.
Yeah. Because
There's
it's
a
under accessibility, I think it was.
I'll look on my page. I know there's a customized channel. That's what I'm going to look on.
Because I find out that, I'm sitting on the deck or something with my laptop, it was kind of hard to see. So
Yeah.
I switched it to the higher contrast or the lower contrast or whatever.
I don't see anything like that, Roger.
Dark mode. Okay, Matthew's saying dark mode is under your Google picture.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't help. I've never seen it. Don't know where that
No.
is. I'm just looking on my page now to see if I can find it, but Oh, maybe up at the top where the banner thing is? No, edit links, edit channel.
Jesus.
Hey, Paul, I thought you'd be out doing all those
Hey,
ships.
Paul.
There's 3 of them.
Nah, I
Maybe up at
just
the top where the banner thing
had a
is?
rough night last night.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry to hear that.
All those ships. There's 3 of them.
So did you catch your skunk? Oh, you took the traps away, eh?
No, he had me set him again last night, so I was out at 10:30 putting them out, and out at 5 o'clock this morning picking them back up again.
Okay.
It's just everything seems to be getting old, like me.
I know. I think I told you about my groundhog problem. I've been trying to trap it. But anyways, last night I had to go. Well, I had to go outside for a few minutes, but talked to my neighbor. He tried to been growing broccoli, and he said something keeps eating it. I go, well, I think I know what's eating your broccoli. The groundhog.
Well, maybe you should bait the trap with broccoli,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about doing.
or get a 55-gallon drum with a ramp, right, Hugh?
Hey, if it works.
Well, see, I got a pond in my backyard with a waterfall, so we get a lot of birds and stuff come here to, get a drink of water, especially if it's hot, right?
I found it, Roger.
I found it too. I just found
Oh,
it.
okay, good.
What
Thank
I
you,
was
Matthew.
wondering is
No.
if you couldn't, those little plastic kiddie pools. If you had a bigger critter, couldn't you use one of those?
Can a groundhog swim?
I don't know.
Oh,
I must have been too tired last night to find that option. Hey, AZ Junkie, good morning, good morning. Thank you, Matthew, for the information.
Yeah, I had to Google it and look it on YouTube to find an answer.
But was it a couple of years ago? Our pond, we used to put a pond heater in and keep it open because we had fish in it, right? And but one year they opened the back door up, and there's a big blue heron, I guess you call it, in their backyard, coming in eating all the fish.
Oh, jeepers.
Well, did you take down that neon sign that said buffet open?
Yeah. I couldn't. My backyard ain't that big. I couldn't believe he got in the yard. It's a pretty big bird. But I heard,
herons are big.
but I heard over there by Lake Margaret there's the blue herons will walk from house to house to house in people's backyard looking for ponds for fish to eat during the winter. Because they just put pond heaters in so they don't freeze.
Yeah. I was thinking about
Neil and Matthew. Last night I clicked on that corner page. I don't know how many times, and I still couldn't get it to work. It wasn't even there, the option. I don't know what happened to his computer last night.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So eventually, Paul, yesterday I was going to bring out my papers and all that. And lucky I phoned ahead of time. They weren't even open.
Really?
But they're open today. I got to go today, absolutely. I saved myself a trip there yesterday. My son came over, did all the weed whacking. Now the yard looks very, very clean. The guys came out and cleaned up the septic tanks. That's done. Hey,
Cool.
David.
Hey, David.
Good morning. How's everyone this morning?
Another day
Very
in
good, very
paradise.
good.
Looks like JDS is having a talk with himself or something.
Unless he's talking and not playing with himself,
Good morning, everyone in the chat. Drone658, Chrissy, JDS, or JDS and Chrissy, whichever way it is.
Hey, Drone 658. Good morning.
Blind Nail.
Yeah, I got a phone call there about 10 o'clock last night. My neighbor, an elderly lady, she's a good friend, but she's moving in about another week or so. But anyways, she's, oh, you doing anything? I said, no, I'm not. Well, I was just sitting there watching TV there last night. And she said, I think I hear somebody in my house. So I had to go down and walk through her house, her basement and everything, make sure all the doors were locked. And
That's weird. Hey,
Yeah.
Canadian Pilot, how you doing? Good morning, good morning.
So how's the important members this morning? How's Roxy and how's Mia? Sorry, Paul, obviously I don't know the name of your pops.
but mine,
Yeah, it's okay. She,
yeah, one here and one there.
she's acting pretty persnickety today. I don't know what her problem is. She wants in, wants out, wants in, wants out, wants her dinner, doesn't want her dinner, eats her dinner, doesn't eat
Okay.
it.
Hey, welcome to my club.
Well, it sounds like our cat.
That's right, the cat ain't here, but
Our cat, she hates it when it's like this. It's hot and still again today, and she's not impressed.
yeah, my cat, once I get out of my chair right here, usually crawls up on it and goes to sleep.
Oh, okay. I gotta wait till Hugh gets back. I got some news I forgot to tell you guys about. I was really waiting for everybody to be on the panel. It's good news, yeah.
Oh, I'm glad we're always good
Good,
for
good.
good news.
Well, Roger won the big lottery. All right.
Oh, if I ever did, Paul, I wouldn't be on here right now.
Well, maybe
Yep.
for a couple minutes to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I ever won the lottery, I would think very, very carefully about how I was going to spend any of the money from a nice, warm, not too hot beach in a nice, sunny, but not too sunny place somewhere in the world. And then I'd probably come home and buy half of Scotland.
Did you know you could live in Montreal and you wouldn't even have to put a winter coat on all winter or any boots or anything and do all your shopping and everything? Did you know that?
With just big
Is it-
malls.
Oh, that's because because you if you live right beside a metro, like most of the places got a big building and you've got the metro system right there. You go into the metro system, which is all heated,
Heated, yeah.
and they got all the stores underground and everything, right? So you could do all your shopping underground and everything, and come back, bring all your stuff home. That's it. You don't even have to go outdoors anymore. Okay, here's the news. Yesterday, we had a little white car coming down the street. And the guy was getting out. He had a big pole with a round thing on it, and he had something else in his hand. He was going up to every telephone pole and leaning against it and everything, taking readings off it, checking the stability of the pole, even taking pictures. Then he came into my yard. He had to ask permission to come to my yard because Roxy was outdoors with us. So I walked up to him. I says, yeah. I says, what's this for? Is this Hydro-Quebec, for the hydro wires? He says, no, this is for the Cogeco Cable Company.
Ooh.
Oh, for Kajiko?
Cogeco, it's
Yeah,
like
Cogeco,
Videotron, but it's Cogeco Video.
Yep.
For the internet and cable and everything. I said, oh yeah?
Oh.
Oh,
I said, when are this supposed to happen? He says, give it about 5 to 8 months. It'll be installed.
Oh, okay.
Wow, great.
wow.
I says, yeah, they told me that about 8 years ago and it never happened. He says, who said that? I says, Bell Canada. He says, yeah, but we're not Bell Canada. We're Cogeco. They're going to be doing it. That's why I'm here for the post. But he says, in about 5 to 8 months, it'll be done.
Oh, geez.
Did
Oh,
you ask?
that's
Did you
exciting.
ask him if he would take your order now?
No, but we talked a while and everything. And I was asking him, why is he leaning that like the transmitter against the post and all that? He says, that's to see if the wiring of the Hydro-Quebec won't interfere with the,
Interference.
yeah. But he says everything looks okay so far. So
Did you tell him the speed of what you've got now for internet?
he laughed. And you said, you're paying for high speed. I said, yeah, he laughed. He said, sorry. He said, I'm sorry to hear that. He says,
Wow. Well, then that's something.
yeah, so that was the good news of yesterday.
Well, maybe before the end of the year, Roger.
Hoping. But
Yeah, maybe by Christmas.
Like my son said, if they're putting the wires up in the post, they still do it during the winter.
Yep.
All right, I was going to ask, would they keep going?
Oh yeah, they do it during the winter. If the posts are already up and everything, they still
So
do
really,
it in
it's just-
winter because
yeah,
my
it's just-
son works for them. So
Oh.
well, he works for the security for the roads there. But he
Just a
falls
matter of
behind
them
the
putting up the
trucks.
wires then. Yeah.
Well, that's something to look forward to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cogeco's been here in Quebec for a long time, Blind Neil. Oh yeah, they've been here. They're taking over pretty well a lot. It makes many years. They're the runoff of Videotron.
Oh.
Hi,
Same
Canadian
company.
drone pilot.
Is it DSL or cable?
It's going to be all cable.
Oh, cable. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So,
How dare you walk past my house? Oh my God.
So you'll be
Yeah,
able to give
yeah.
Bell the big FU letter once Cogeco
oh
comes
yes,
in, right?
oh yes.
You're gonna write them a nice letter.
Well, I'm going to email them a nice letter. Yeah.
Well, my sister, she's on with a company called Eastlink, but it's on that that equipment is that Kajiko or whatever. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's all their equipment. It's all
Yeah.
cable. Yep.
So it'll be high speed, Roger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told him how much I was paying a month here for my phone, TV, and internet. She's holy shit. He says, and he says, Bill's got us by the kahoonies here. So my landlord was here at the same time. He says, you know how many customers Bill's gonna lose? Oh yeah, and I'm very happy about it.
Well, it's unlikely, but maybe they'll do something about it if they start getting people putting in for their codes to switch and leave and everything. I doubt it,
No.
but
No, I don't think so.
I don't think Bell will. They're too stingy.
Morning, David.
good morning, Hugh. It's warm here again today.
Oh, that's nice.
No, it's too warm for Scotland.
Well, when you say warm, David, give us an idea what warm in Scotland is.
Forecast is for 27. I think it's about 25 at the moment.
Mid
That
80s.
makes it about 70 or 80.
No, like 85, 88.
Yes,
That's
25
true,
at the moment,
yes.
according to the machine.
But is it a dry heat?
I would
It's,
imagine it's moist.
pretty
Yeah,
humid.
living on the ocean. Yeah.
That Bell's not too far away, is it?
What's with the
No.
bell?
Yeah, Blind Neil, that's true. That's true. Okay there, Chrissy. Take care.
Take care, Chrissy.
Kenny and Drone Pilot's in the chat.
Oh yeah, he is. Hey,
Yeah.
Rich.
Yeah.
How you doing? Hey, my sister just told me where to go.
Really?
But
It wasn't polite words.
but you haven't gone yet. What's tell
Right.
her you're tired. You're not going.
Well, she said, "Oh, are you coming down this weekend?" She said, "I need to know so if I can make supper." I said, "You realize you don't have to cook a supper." He goes, "You are my brother." She loves me.
That's a good thing.
So that's one thing I was happy about yesterday. And I was there. Should I phone Paul and let him know? No, I'll wait. I'll wait till tomorrow.
Well, you never know, Roger. You never know.
Well, it's guaranteed I'll be probably the first one to get it because I'm right here on the corner.
So you're the first house off the end of the road, sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Well, was he working his way past your house going down the road, or was he coming from down the road towards the next road?
He was coming down the road like that, and
From-
the post is there where it's got the internet.
Yeah, but from the main road there, from the city?
No, he was coming up from the other side, from Country Road.
See, and that to me, that's scary because that means that may not mean anything, but that means he sees your property as the last one, not the first one.
Because I noticed him going down in the morning. The car with Smart Telecom on it,
Yeah.
and it went all the way down. So
It-
I didn't pay much attention of it. But
Yeah.
when he came back, he got out of the car, started walking around with that thing in his hand and everything. I was the last house to be done on this road.
Yeah, if I was doing that job, testing the field strength on the wires, I'd go to the far spot first and work my way back.
Yeah.
But,
even my landlord was asking what the hell he was doing because he had to go on my landlord's property to check the telephone post. Because my landlord, he's got all his hedges built around it, you know. So he had to take pictures of that post. Yes, girl, stop snoring so loud. Hey, John Spiesel, how you doing?
So, Kajiko, that's owned by Rogers.
No, it's on. Hold on. I'll get up the. I'll get up the. Go. It's.
Hey, Sean, how you doing, buddy?
Morning, Geeks Warner.
I'll share my screen there.
Afternoon, Geeks Warner.
This one. That one.
Hey, Paul, how's that GoFundMe page going?
Let's check.
You only had
Coach,
till today, right? Yeah, so it's an independent company.
Oh, it is
It's
independent.
got a
Okay, I
stock
thought it-
price, yeah.
Huh.
Quebec-based, Montreal headquarters. Wow, okay.
Atlantic Broadband.
I had Coach go for about 8 years in Smiths Falls, and good speed, but terrible customer service. Whenever there was a problem, it was a real pain in the ass.
Okay.
But good speed. I did have good speed, so.
That's what I like about my my provider, and I've been with them since they started donkeys years ago, and they're called PlusNet now. They were called Freenet name when they first started, and they've always been good, and the customer service is UK based as well. So when you phone up, you're only phoning to Yorkshire. And yeah, it's a bit awkward talking to somebody with a Yorkshire accent, but it's local UK. You know, you're speaking to somebody who can understand what you're saying, basically.
Because here was a billionaire that used to own it here in Quebec. He still owns it.
Oh,
He became our minister here in Quebec. He lasted about, I think, 1 year. So he gave up the politics and he stayed doing what he was doing for Videotron.
Yeah.
And remember that movie? It's called, damn it, Billionaire?
Doesn't ring any
I
bells
think
with
so.
me.
Well, it's made here all in Quebec almost. It's about a district attorney trying to get a billionaire that was scamming money from other companies and all that, and he was trying to get them and all that.
Sounds familiar though.
I gotta get. Wait, I'll go on Netflix and I'll get it. I'll see what it. But it's all made. Some places are made. That guy owns that Videotron thing. He even owns the biggest arena up in Quebec City, there, stadium. I can't remember his freaking name. I know it. John Spiesel is the only time to find money with flashback.
I've just had a look at the fundraiser. He's not raised a lot more than we saw yesterday, but he's put a note on today saying it looks like this is going to happen.
Oh.
So he's obviously got some help from somewhere else as well.
Well, they mentioned last night that there was some guy that's a real good lawyer with drones or something. Maybe they got him in contact or something. But somebody put a link in last night. I was watching and about Louisiana, their laws, where they have already approved all their laws back in 2017 about drones. But
So Paul, what
I
happened? Did you get an update, Paul, on the total for that guy's
I
GoFundMe?
can't find the address anymore. It was just right.
Oh,
Just
Yeah.
write it down because today was the last day, I think, Paul.
oh,
Total
I
is $2,817.
okay.
I'll pop the link in the chat so you
Yeah,
can
pop
take a
it
look.
in the chat because I can't find it.
There you go. It's in the.
You know, ever since it did a damn update on my computer yesterday, things are not where they were and they're not how they were. And
Oh, you've just had a Windows update, have you? Where
Yeah.
they've hidden everything again. Yeah.
yeah,
Nope, another ship coming through.
It's, Kim and I looked at a movie last night. It's called Meg.
The Meg.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a big friggin' shark, man.
Well, I watched
Yeah.
Alien last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
1989.
But you still get the phone service, but it's a cellular phone, cell phone. So that's what's going to happen. I'm going to take the phone out. I'm going to take the TV out completely. This the satellite dish.
Oh, it's all with Bell right now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Believe me. They're gonna,
That's what's going to
Yeah,
hit Bell.
that's it. Thank you so much, JL. I was searching his bloody name all freaking day, all morning. Yeah, Cal Pelado. There you go.
Okay.
Thank you so much, JL. Man Cave, good morning, good morning. That's Heath. Anyway, I'll be happy when it's done.
Yeah.
They were saying that Bell are going to miss when people. It's not just when they lose their internet. If cables come in direct like that, people are going to switch on anything they've got that a Bell. I would imagine, like Roger's talking about doing phones, TV, all sorts. Yeah.
Because me all together with the internet, telephone, and TV, it's $230 a month with tax.
Whew. Damn.
That's what I pay.
That's a lot of money.
So all they've got to do is come on less than that.
Yeah, and the lousy internet I get, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh,
And my son, he says he's got everything at home, and he's only paying 125, I think it is, a month.
wow.
Roll on them getting it installed then.
Yeah.
You look somber, Paul.
well, I'm just reading through that.
Oh.
I'm just looking for that link from last night. Oh, there it is.
You look
right
very
there.
serious.
Okay. Cool.
You look like you're about to deliver a verdict as a judge or something. Gavel drops.
It's a good thing I'm in the kind of mood today. I'd be hanging them all. You know.
Oh boy.
Oh no. But I only littered. Hanging.
Kill them all and let God sort it out.
20 years. Boom.
Judge Murray.
Hey, Hugh, I just put a link up there. Go to that. It's the state drone law of Louisiana.
Oh, and how does it look?
Yeah, read it. It's very short.
Oh. So they specifically say that it's trespass if you fly over somebody's property. Oh, wow. That's not a very drone-friendly state then, is it?
No.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
So then he is going to lose his case if it's a state law.
Oh, he's fucked. Pardon my language.
Okay.
He's done.
Well,
He's done.
Well, it gets dicey because state law does not preempt federal law. So
No, it doesn't
federal
have. It doesn't have to here. All they have to do is prosecute based on the state law. Forget this federal law.
Yeah, but if it's what it could do is it could go all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they would say, no, that any law that is not, that tries to preempt
Yeah,
federal
maybe.
law
Yeah.
is not legal.
If they can get it, but he can't.
Look at the first one, SB 69, state preemption. Grants state DOT sole authority over regulating drones in the state.
Yeah.
That's what
Wow.
an
That's-
ordinary lawyer is not gonna get that one.
No, that's so. If he, hopefully, he has got that guy that helped out. I'll try to. My memory's gone. But you know the guy I mean, the big one that was on recently.
From
Hopefully, it's him.
Nashville. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you read that, the guy is guilty, right?
Reading
According to
those laws.
Louisiana state law. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Blind Neil. No, because it specifically says drone.
Damn.
Yeah,
But
but
why-
as Geeksbarner says, he will win the appeal because it wasn't a fair trial. They didn't
Yeah,
stick
it
to
wasn't
their
a fair
own rules.
trial. No, I understand that, but it was scary what on the Louisiana state law,
Yeah,
and that was what 2017. They did that.
yeah. So that could lead that first one that I mentioned there. That could lead to an interesting battle between the state and the federal
Yeah.
folk.
Hey, Keith Savannah. He will win on appeal. They did not prove the case under their own rules, Keith Savannah.
But here's the thing, Sean. If he doesn't have the money to appeal, that's the problem, right? Is the money to do the law.
Hey, Sean, join us for a couple of minutes, will you? Just so we can talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm only going by what I'm reading there. So
Paul, you
yeah.
want to send him an invite?
What's that?
Did you send him an invite? to Keith
Okay, I
Savannah?
can.
Paul knows so much more about it.
See, if Ontario or Quebec had a set of laws like that, I wouldn't fly my drone. I would make sure that I didn't fly my drone over people's property, right?
Yeah.
Not that I do, because I don't now anyway, because of just being extra cautious.
Oh, no problem there, Matthew.
There's
Um,
nothing. Sorry,
yeah,
go
but
ahead,
see,
Paul.
but the only problem is I understand what you're saying, Hugh, but that gets into the gray area about public property. So does that mean that your city, county, or municipality say no flying of drones, period?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
Because it gets to the provincial and local governments versus federal FAA regulations.
I can just tell you as a drone pilot, if I knew those were the rules, I wouldn't be doing it.
Mm.
But this guy, I don't think he knew. I think he was a hobbyist, right? It was the first time he just got the drone and just
Yeah.
flew
Hey,
it.
Jen Koopy.
Hi, John Covey.
I don't know. Personally, myself, I think there's more to the story about this guy and the cop or something. But because
Yeah.
he should have just said, "Look, don't fly over my property."
Right? That would be my first instinct as a human being, right? Just
Not
don't do it again.
everybody's like that though, but I believe there's more to it than what's out. But yeah, not everybody is. Not everybody is nice about their property boundaries.
No.
It's not like he flew over his house. It was the corner of a bush or something. But maybe the cop's nervous. Somebody's after him or something. I don't know.
Well, and then the cops, of course, went around and talked to everybody in the area about drones. And so when they told them there was a drone flying, they said, "Oh yeah, I don't want any spying done here. No."
Yeah, but they could have just come up and said, "Look, like, please don't fly around here," and be pushed it. It might have been a different story, but
Well, that good old boy mentality in small towns. Who knows what that cop was actually growing back in the woods.
yeah,
Yeah, there's Blind Neil. The deputy didn't want his meth lab found out.
Yeah, right.
Well, the fun thing to do in the state of Louisiana would be to get yourself an FAA surveying license and working for like a government agency or something, and go fly your drone to see what happens.
Yeah, because then at least you'd have legal protection from the company, right?
Yep, and
Yeah.
you also would have legal protection because you're flying under the auspices of a federal agency.
That's a good point. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they can ban him from ever owning a drone. That's private property, personal stuff. Why couldn't he own a drone, go fly it someplace else?
Well, in history, if you're convicted of a gun possession or criminal activity with a gun, part of everything is that you can no longer ever own a gun.
Yeah, but that's not a firearm.
No,
Hey,
but it-
Sean, how you doing?
It just shows how the reach of the court is.
Hello, Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Hey everybody, how are we?
Geeksmon in the house. Whoop, whoop.
Apologies
Yeah,
for the
your
weird
volume's a
camera
little
angle.
low, Sean.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in a different setup because I wasn't planning on being anywhere today. I mean,
So you're in Studio C, I see. Okay.
yeah. I'm in studio. It's my day off. Leave me alone. How are we all?
Good.
Hey.
What's your take? How this thing's proceeding? Have you been?
Well, I've heard differing things over the last 24 hours. There's a little group of us forming that are obviously speaking to these people and seem to get the story every time it comes up at the moment. Is my level okay now?
Yes.
Yep.
Good.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I've heard, again, because I think it's probably going to be changing in his own mind, but I've heard news that he's not going to appeal, and then he is going to appeal, etc. So it's obviously it's a very, very tough decision for him to make, very difficult. To answer the question that was raised, or not the question, but the wonder that was raised, there was previous beef between the two people. The neighbor who is a parish deputy sheriff, they haven't got on for a good amount of time.
I figured it had to be something, yeah.
And they've had several disputes. Also, it's worth pointing out that it wasn't the only drone flight. So it isn't literally, this guy didn't just fly over once and then that's it. There's no problem. There were the flight described in the video I put on TNL last night was the first one he did, where the neighbor then came over and said, "Look, stop flying over my property." And then there were other alleged occurrences of it happening. But it's it's very difficult because it seems like the preemption has been overstepped, but that does happen an awful lot. Well, obviously, when states put their own laws in place based on preemptions, they do tend to overstep a little bit, whether it's to do with drug enforcement or anything at all, frankly. So it's going to be an interesting one because certainly it would appear he hasn't been given open access to a complete free and open not trial but certainly defense. He wasn't able to sorry, I've still got my lights on studio mode from last night. I apologize. On more blue. There we go. That's a bit better. You can see me a little bit better now, not like I'm hiding in some brothel.
That would be exciting.
that's later. Have my spy cams ready, don't worry, for the live stream. So yeah, it would be interesting to see what happens. There are a lot of things that didn't happen in the case. One of his expert witnesses, Ryan, who would have helped an awful lot and would have steered the court towards the right side of the varying legislations. He wasn't allowed to appear via video link, despite COVID, despite obviously everyone. It's actually, even if someone's 2 miles down the road, it's actually better right now for them to appear by video link, but they said they wouldn't allow that at the last minute, even though they had agreed to it previously, and they wouldn't even allow the DJI flight records to come in. The main point they were trying to prove to get it to happen is that he was surveilling the neighbor's property, because that's the part of their preemption that would actually stand. So if you could prove in Louisiana, if you could prove that someone with their drone had the intention of doing it to surveil you, then they would be justifiably prosecuted under the state law. The part of just flying over a property, well, that won't stand up under federal law, so you can appeal that and you'll be okay. But so that's why they focused on the surveilling side of things. And they didn't prove their own case, is what a lot of people feel very strongly about. Especially when you've got, the DJI flight records will show that he flew over a wooded part of the property, which isn't inhabited, which isn't, the flight records show that he's not like going over to the house, then going over to the stables, then going over to the barn, hovering over his car as it's coming down the driveway or something. There was none of that sort of issues within the flight records, so hence they excluded them, which is a shame. But I've said it from the start when I first talked about this on air a few days ago, that the decision has to be, it's such a personal decision, because he has to decide whether he wants to put his life at risk, his livelihood and everything else at risk, to appeal something. It's a very scary business. It's a very big thing to say I'm going to do.
But they threaten him with other charges. Do you know what they are?
Well, they've said there would be a fourth charge of trespass, because, as I say, there were multiple flights. So they've said, if you appeal, we're going to add an extra charge, which of course will be another 30 days, another fine. They can't ban him multiple times from owning a drone, but so it's a difficult one. It's really a difficult one. Obviously, it's a huge stress for the guy, and I really do feel for him. One slight positive that might come out of this is that we are working with a couple of the chaps who have had arrests before and have found their way to justice, shall we say. We are putting together a reaction group of people with skills and expertise to basically help people in these situations. So that they're able to get access to media, they're able to get access to lawyers that know what they're talking about, and industry experts basically who can help guide them at a very early stage.
Sean, that would be great to establish a legal defense assistance group.
Yeah, it won't be quite that, because of course the issue with the size of the US as well is that a lawyer on the East Coast can't really help you on the West Coast type thing, and that sort of thing. But there is going to be at least 2 lawyers who are going to be available for initial advice, which they're not going to charge for. And then there's also going to be members of the group who have actually been arrested for things like trespass before. So people like Benjamin Dodson, who was arrested in Nashville, he's going to be a member of the group, and they're going to be able to give a personal opinion on it as well and say, okay, you're going to go through this is going to happen. I found it really hard because of this decision. And of course, speaking to someone that's gone through the same thing is going to give you a lot more, at least reduce your stress levels.
Well, it
if
definitely,
nothing else.
and using a platform like Zoom, they could all get together and have a conversation,
Exactly. And then with people like Ryan, I was getting his surname completely around my throat, Ryan Latourette. Why can't I just say Latourette? Latourette. There you go.
Roger could say it.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, with people like Ryan around as well, we're going to be able to pull everything together and react very quickly, so we can get videos out on it. We can get the public support, the GoFundMe page is happening quicker, so that actually, rather than it being at appeal stage, this guy could have got help long before that, and perhaps have instructed the correct lawyer in the first place who could have done something for him. Again, this is such a unique situation for so many reasons. So it wouldn't necessarily have completely helped him, because of course one of the issues that they found trying to raise a different lawyer for the appeal is that very few lawyers within any kind of driving distance will actually touch the case. Mainly because the state have been so do not. It's one of those sort of areas where the prosecutor and the state's attorney say actually don't touch this, and then everybody turns away from it, unfortunately. So he's having that problem on top of everything else. So it's the old boys network and everything else complicating it, unfortunately.
So whatever happened to the other guy that was charged for flying your I think in
the Nashville guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, his case has been put off to the 29th of September. they have asked for the two police officers to actually appear in court to give their stories and to be questioned.
Okay.
Which is a very good sign, because that means that hopefully someone, the judge or someone in the line there, doesn't like what they're reading on the statements from them, and also wants to cross-examine about whether or not he did check with one officer first and that type of thing. And they've also got a couple of industry experts working with his lawyer on the FAA side, and his lawyer, his local lawyer, who's handling the actual case, is doing an awful lot of very good research on state code to ensure that they're ready. And they're actually going for a motion to dismiss, which at the moment is looking quite strong.
Okay, good. John Coopy has a question for you, Sheen.
The precedent that it's set so it doesn't appeal it. Well, exactly. That's one of the things that I raised, John, when we first talked about this. If it's not appealed, it will not hold much weight outside of Louisiana. Because of course, if you want to bring this up as case law in California and say, hey, but someone in Louisiana was prosecuted successfully for that, so here's some case law. But it hasn't actually, it has to go through appeal processes to be counted into case law, because then it's actually being tested several times at higher levels. So if he went to appeal and he lost, then you've got case law. What you have got, what the issue is, which Ryan was discussing with us, is there are groups who are trying to get this type of law across the entirety of the United States. If he doesn't appeal, they will use that case in their package when they're lobbying Congress, etc., to get more wider laws put into place of that type. So if you suddenly had 10 or 15 of these across the states that were successful, that starts to look like it's a body of evidence that that's what the people of the country want, and that's very difficult. So but yeah, as John Coopy raises in his question, if he doesn't appeal it, it dies in Louisiana, but obviously sets a wider issue from the point of view of the public perception as well.
Well, I know United States and Louisiana is completely different from Canada, but you know, here we have a problem with the government on something like that. You can always go to a minister of parliament, you know, and different stuff for some help too.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he has that option or not.
He doesn't, and of course we have here in the UK we have a very similar system to Canada, that our parliament system sits very much above everything, whereas in America you have to remember, with the states you've almost got like different countries joined together in a union, so the states independently still have an awful lot of localized power, and then they obviously have to cede to federal a law above them, of course, but they are, you know, pre-union days we were talking about almost separate countries here. So it is slightly different, unfortunately.
Well, I just wonder if the federal government can do something about the state. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is what you think should be the case. However, as I keep explaining with the FAA, it's very much a two-sided coin. On the one side of the coin, they will prosecute you if they find enough evidence that you've been flying illegally. If you put your YouTube video on with a 5-mile range test and you put a face cam, look at me, I'm flying 5 miles away, then they've got you on camera and they can prosecute you, and they will go for you. However, when there's something going through parish court or through the state court system that's against federal regulations, it's actually for the defense lawyers to prove that. The federal government wouldn't actually, or the federal agencies independently wouldn't actually come down and step in, unfortunately.
Sean, do you find that in discussions, and I know that you being in the UK, but you do discuss US.
Yes, more than UK these days, but yeah.
Do you find that the FAA deep down inside really don't want anything to do with all of this nonsense?
I think that the FAA, like any other federal agency, have a limited budget, and they have an awful lot to do. They have, you know, they have the, you know, police forces have all this ground to cover. Well, the FAA have all that sky and everything that gets thrown in there and flown in there, and all of the other stuff that happens, and they have a limited budget, and drones and drone law is only a part of that limited budget. So I think that the FAA, as with other federal agencies, have become very good at staying in their lane as far as their process and procedure is concerned. As far as what they would like to see happen, of course, if you speak to anybody from the FAA, you watch any interview with any former FAA senior executive, it is always certainly that they would have liked to see their rules, because they are federal rules, implemented properly. But as far as actually getting all the states to play ball, you would instantaneously have about 3,000 court cases brought up straight away to try and make these things happen. And unfortunately, that would end up costing hundreds of millions of taxpayers' money, and it wouldn't get anywhere, unfortunately.
What about companies like Amazon or FedEx or whatever now?
Well, yeah,
they're not going to be able to fly now over people's places.
Oh, yes, they are. Because Mr. Amazon comes into Louisiana State and says, okay, we're going to put 2 drone distribution centers in Louisiana. They're going to serve these particular areas that we want to serve. And we're going to create 5,000 jobs. We're going to give X income into the local taxation system. We're going to make X donations, et cetera, and then, what you will then find is there will be a new designation of UAS, UAS 2, and then Louisiana. And I'm only using Louisiana as an example. Every state will do the same, of course. They will suddenly have a separate designation for a delivery drone, and then that will be allowed, subject to a license being granted, which would be, committing to building distribution centers, local taxation, jobs, et cetera, which I don't disagree with. I have no problem with companies wanting to come into areas and put jobs and money in, of course. But
the state law says drones.
Yes, but they, in my opinion, the way that the states that are the various US states who are very hard on our drones, on our UAS, they will just come up with a new designation. They'll call it UAS 2 or something. And UAS 2 will be a drone capable of delivery operated from a mass central system. So they'll have a new designation, and that will be allowed to fly over people's properties, etc.
Hey,
until the first one crashes.
Yeah, the other thing I noticed, Sean, that really kind of disturbs me, and it might be just a technical thing, is why in the actual legislation it says drones instead of UAS? Drone is a euphemism of everything that flies.
Yes.
And
yes, exactly.
They didn't have the brains or the knowledge to say UAS.
The way that has been explained to me is because it's the same with the UK's drone registration scheme. The drone registration scheme in the UK is not a drone registration scheme. It's a flyer registration scheme. You register yourself, you take a test, you pass that test, and you're given 2 numbers. The little drone itself is not registered. It has your flyer ID on there.
Right.
But the way that it works is that they will set these laws up, and they will write, especially the front part, so the titles of preemptions, etc., in layman's speak. And that's been active now for about 10 years, where lawmakers will always try to ensure that their documents can be read by a lay person. So, for instance, it's on Act 635, invasion of privacy, on the Louisiana drone laws, it says expands voyeurism and peeping Tom laws. So obviously it's not the technical side of things is not peeping Tom, but peeping Tom is a phrase that everybody understands pretty quickly, and that's why they use the word drone, because it's simplifying legislation so the masses can understand it. I'm not sure what that says about what they're saying about the masses, but
but in the States, isn't a registered drone registered aircraft?
There's the States is actually the FAA don't see a necessary difference, although you're starting to see a lot more language in FAA and CAA documentations which are coming out across the world. So the Canadian, the New Zealand, the UK, the American FAA, they're starting to change their language a lot to stop calling UAS, drones, quadcopters, aircraft, and they are now starting to call them UAS very specifically, which again I think is to help when the UTM comes in and that type of thing, and other regulations happen.
But I don't think it's been changed yet, though. But it's still a registered aircraft, so I don't, you know.
It is absolutely, yeah, and which is why with the case, for instance, the one that was on Ken Herron's, where the chap had his drone shot at, and it still landed with half the battery missing. That person has shot at an aircraft. As simple as that.
Sean, the only other question that to my knowledge, nobody's answered is he registered to fly with the FAA?
Yes.
Okay. And he's not a 107 pilot.
No, he's not a 107 pilot, and he decided his first drone would be an Inspire One, which is a brave move.
I love him for that.
Same. I think it's superb. If you're going to do it properly, and that's a great first aircraft.
And you know, for
which I think is obviously part of what harmed him, isn't it? So, sorry, Paul, because it's a huge aircraft. So I think if he had a Mavic 2 Pro or something, and he was flying that over the neighbour's woods at 350 feet, they probably wouldn't even know about it. So,
well, and the other thing too, Sean, you probably dove into deeper than I, just in the conversation we had the other day, is that they brought in experts from the state and from wherever that says that you cannot see a drone more than 400 feet away. It's like, what?
Yeah.
We're talking about an Inspire One.
That's right. In open land as well. So we're not talking about someone flying it in the middle of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
We're talking about, you know, someone flying it in their own open land, and they've very much got have line of sight. Line of sight is such a beast, and it is such a difficult one. I mean, it's going to be simplified for people like myself and David very soon when the EASA regulations come in, and you know they are limiting us to a certain amount of meters. That's it. So they're not even talking about a line of sight, etc. anymore. It's, you know, just don't go beyond this distance.
But he got charged for trespassing. Like trespassing, got jail time there.
Yes, 30 days per charge.
Wow. Like here, you get a fine and see ya.
Yeah, well, it was 30 days per charge, a fine per charge, and then an overall banning, prohibition to ever own a drone.
I think they way overstepped the bounds on that. It just.
Yeah, indeed.
Because the cops are out to get them. That certain cop has a grudge against them.
Yeah. Gotta be. Yeah.
And there is more background there, which it isn't my responsibility to bring to light because it doesn't affect the story that I covered or the case. But
you are aware of the background.
There is even more background. Yes.
Okay.
Which when you hear that background, you're like, okay. That's why they didn't. That's why they carried on, and it is nothing against James Benson, Bubba Benson. Nothing to do with his background. Nothing to do with anything he's done whatsoever. It is purely situational.
More like a vendetta.
Yes, absolutely. Vendetta happening from the past, but nothing to do with anything that he has done wrong.
Okay.
Just to clarify that, because I didn't want it to sound like
it's two separate things.
Saying that he's a bit dodgy or something, because I found nothing but good reports about Bubba. He seems to be a stand-up guy.
Falcon Flight 101's in the house, Herman.
Hey, Herman.
Hey, Herman.
Hey, there's what Herman was saying. Based on expert testimony, the police officer shouldn't have been able to see the drone either if he can't see it.
Yeah, I think one of the expert witnesses actually said you can't see it more than 400 or 800 feet.
So less than that. I think there were 200 on one of them.
200 or 300 was mentioned, yeah.
Yeah, like a football field.
Yeah, I mean,
you can see it spark that far away.
Yes, exactly. The big issue is, and it's the issue that we're going to have. We've had that issue here over in Europe, and we've dealt with it now, hopefully. But the big conversation that's going to happen with line of sight in the States is coming, and it is about situational awareness. It's not just about being able to see a black dot or a flashing light. It's having to have the same situational awareness as a pilot sitting in the deck of an aircraft would have. And I think that will be the next, after remote ID, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah,
that'll be the
now
next
there's another
next
thing. Do
large
you think the
statesman.
FAA would be interested in this because of the remote ID, that they could discuss it on the panel and, to say, well,
Yeah.
they want to present this evidence of the DJI, like the map of what happened. But with remote ID, they're going to have that information.
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
Gil,
indeed. I mean, but part of the issue there, of course, is that they don't have, they almost can't comment on it because it hasn't gone through the federal system. So it hasn't been, the case hasn't stood up to their own standards yet. If it goes to the next level and loses, the FAA will certainly use that information and talk about it quite openly. But they're as I say, the federal agencies in the states are very clever about staying in their lane and making sure.
But in the meantime, the
paths.
poor guy gets hurt in Louisiana.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I keep trying to almost bring the conversation back to a bit as well. That we have to remember that James Benson is in a position here of extreme stress. Let me just mute my phone because I've got some very colourful text messages. I won't tell you what it says when Mikey from Philly texts me. It's very rude.
Like I don't know. Is this guy married? Got kids?
That I don't know. Only because job wise, yes, etc. He is. I can certainly say he is what most of us would call an upstanding member of the community.
Okay.
He literally could be any one of us, if that makes sense. He wasn't an irresponsible pilot. He wasn't
the town drunk or
he is which is why, as Ryan has been saying in everywhere he's been appearing, the reason he is personally so passionate about it is because if it happens to him, it can happen to absolutely anybody across the United States.
The common phrase should be, he's just your average Joe.
Yes. Yeah.
But would the state have to prove intent, like he meant to trespass?
The individual part of the actual trespass doesn't necessarily hold up. Although they say flying a drone in airspace over private property, they know that that's not going to hold up on the next level of appeal. The part that they wanted to focus on was the conducting surveillance of private property without consent.
Yep.
And in actual fact, they didn't even prove that. So even in their own case, just on a state level, lawyers who have spoken to Mr. Benson believe that they haven't necessarily even proven their own case at a local level.
Sean, did they return all of his stuff that they confiscated or no?
Yes, yeah.
Because I heard that they did not return the SD card.
I don't know whether that's back yet or not. All I know, I have a general statement that everything's been returned, but whether that actually did include the SD card or not, I'm not sure.
No, I don't know if they'd even be smart enough to know that had one.
Indeed.
Hey, Michael Banny.
It's a very scary situation, and it's one that a lot of people across the United States could find themselves and are more and more. You look at Michigan with James Harrison over there. He was able to fund a civil case to be able to ensure that it didn't happen again and to prove that the arrest was wrong and everything else like that. So he was in a very fortunate position. So many people are going to be much more like Mr. Benson, who are going to be in a situation where if they have to suddenly find 12,000 just for a solicitor, UK speak, just for a lawyer to open the case and to move forward, then that's a lot of money for most of us to find. Especially when you're never guaranteed that it's going to work, of course.
Yeah,
everybody,
exactly.
and that's what I keep saying in the last 48 hours. Everyone said, "Oh, he has to. He doesn't have to anything because there is nothing saying that he'll win. There's nothing saying that there isn't a vital piece of information that we don't know that will also be unearthed. Because of course, if it goes to the next level, the states of Louisiana are going to throw a lot more money at it. They're going to do a lot more research. They are going to start looking at the flight logs. They are going to start looking at SD cards, and we don't know if something will come up in that will actually hurt his case. and I'm sure he's been given the both sides of the sword story by from the lawyers who are looking to take it over. But yeah, it's a very scary proposition both ways, because it's also, you also have to think, okay, so he's deciding today. Friday is the day he has to decide. Can you imagine how you feel on the Saturday when you've decided not to appeal and you're
Buyer's
sitting there?
remorse. Yep.
Yeah, you're sitting there with those 3 counts sat there. If he pays the fines, there'll probably be something worked out about the jail time, I would have thought. So if he went to jail at all, it
could be
for
just
a shorter
community
period.
service. Yeah.
Exactly, because that would serve the state better anyway. He isn't a violent criminal that they have to keep off the streets. So the whole definition of why you should jail someone isn't necessarily there in his case. So he could easily get community service, as Paul says. But it would still be a pretty horrible Saturday morning waking up. Either way.
A positive note would be that if he did plead guilty to all of it, for the judge to give community service, is that community service will be served doing aerial reconnaissance for fire departments and police departments. And
yeah, aerial surveilling.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Sean, do you know what the price of the fines were?
No, I do not.
I don't think he's actually been sentenced, has he? Apart from being found guilty, there's been no sentence hearing until after he decides to appeal or not, I think. Yeah,
there are parts of it that are being assessed as well. They assess fines and that sort of thing as well. So, which again, as David's aware, that's very much the system in this country these days. How much you get fined for a speeding ticket actually is these days is directly linked to how much you earn. So yes, so no, the amount isn't known yet. So, but it is thought to be substantial.
Brian Neal raises a point there. He says that he was asked not to fly over the property, but continued to. So at that point, then, it's a different thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Although that really concerned me, because the expert witness said that it was his first drone flight. That's what he told us on Herman's stream the other day. Which in fact was not the case, right?
He didn't. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Oh, I thought that's what I said.
No, that's okay. And in fact, I've clipped. Where did I put that? On my stream last night, I played a clip of Ryan on those guys, and I actually clipped that part where he says that he describes this is the first flight that happened, but there were other flights.
No mention of the
first flight where he was confronted.
Yeah, but again, as one of the first things I always say on every stream I've spoken on about this, there was bad blood, there was beef there. So we are talking about a situation, and with the history of the situation, where everything that you would have done, he could have parked his truck 1 meter over his boundary line, and he would have been over there talking to him about it. So we're not talking about necessarily a standard neighbor to neighbor situation.
Yeah.
It just so happens that one of those neighbors has power.
Be right back. My trapper's here.
Oh.
Yeah. And this was just a lower court, like a local thing, right?
A parish. Yeah, exactly. County. Yeah.
But even being Canadian is quite concerning to hear it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's concerning as well on a human level. It's horrible to hear people going through this type of thing. It's it's a really difficult thing.
Carpenter Rick, this is all about a guy that got stopped in the States for flying his drone, and charges been laid against him and everything. So it's a long story for sure. Everybody check out that latest video that Captured Life did.
I'm watching it right now.
Okay, I'm going to bookmark it, and I'll have to look at it later. It's a little bit long.
I love the face mask.
I had a question. Okay, he's passing court today.
James Benson in Louisiana. No, he has to decide whether he's going to appeal the convictions by today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's being convicted, and he just has to decide whether he's going to launch an appeal or not. One of the issues that complicates things is the lack of available local lawyers who will take the case on now. And therefore the quote they've got of someone that knows what they're talking about is $12,000 literally just to start, as the lawyers want to know he's got that kind of level of funds available before they start the case.
So, I mean, this guy works also and everything, so that's why he's not allowed a free lawyer.
Yeah, no, indeed, exactly. Yeah.
But like really, they haven't established what height above a piece of property is actually legal, illegal.
That's right.
Like the top of the trees.
There is some difficulty about it. There have been two cases, historic cases, which have set some precedent, but there is still some grey area there, and that's I think once remote ID, UTM is all in place, all of these things will be very, very different. Unfortunately, the hobby will be very different as well. But yeah, I think that's we're going to see some substantial differences.
Yeah,
it really is. It's the kind of a thing that's going on that you just gotta, amongst all of the other issues in the world, it's just another cherry on the pie.
Yeah. Absolutely, and it's there is obviously the whole drone UAS side of it, but there is the other side of it that this just feels like an injustice. So
it does. Yeah, that's the hardest part. It just feels like an injustice.
Well, and it's a hopeless kind of injustice. You feel, I can only imagine what he's going through.
Yeah,
because it's like, hey, I work every day. I don't have millions of dollars in the bank, and this and that and all these other things. Plus, he will have a conviction on his record forever.
Mm-hmm. That's right, and he won't be able to own a drone and that sort of thing, and yes, he could move state, and then of course he's there is. But
it's still pop on his record.
Exactly. If anything did happen in another, if let's say he moves to California and he's flying his Inspire 1 over there and it falls out of the sky and hits someone's car, and they say, oh, you were flying, in a dangerous way, and they pull his record, then, there's more likelihood he's then going to be prosecuted in that case, isn't there, unfortunately?
I don't know how they can legally ban a drone. I know they were talking about a firearm.
Yeah, I don't know how they can enforce that. It's a strange one,
it's
isn't it?
Getting charged for speeding. Oh, geez, you can't drive a car anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know how they can do that.
No, exactly. I'm waiting for the story next year where he's raided for alleged drone ownership.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like can he own his Inspire 1 if he removes the motors? Where's the level of electronics he's allowed?
Or let's assume that he has a teenage son or a son that lives in the house, and the son has a drone. Does because what does that mean?
I think it was also
that drone is registered to the federal government, not state government.
Exactly, and I think it was that particular part of the judgment that made me start to think, okay, this isn't just a local municipality getting things wrong. This is very wrong. Full stop.
Yeah.
Will they start a drone offender registry?
That's right. You have to knock on the doors of all your neighbors. You have to knock on your doors of all your neighbors and tell them that you're not allowed to own a drone. If you see me flying a drone, please report me.
Or do you have to join a recovery group? Drone Anonymous.
My name is Hugh and I'm a drone addict.
Yeah.
Welcome to the group. Thank you.
Or perhaps you have to have one of those no drone zones on your gate post.
Well, I'm only saying one specific, but what about DJI? That could affect a lot of their sales in Louisiana.
Yeah.
No,
indeed. But there are manufacturers who are interested in the case. One of the interesting parts of this actually is because he's at a much more advanced position than a lot of the stories that we hear on this, and a lot of stories fall down. You know, the charges are withdrawn because they're ridiculous and that type of thing. Is actually a lot of the large organizations that make a lot of noise about, hey, you can't do that, and of course we step in and help. They are helping, but nothing actually concrete, unfortunately.
Well, don't you think that the major manufacturers are interested, but they want to stay arm's length because they don't want the state coming after them?
I think as well that the problem when it's an individual against a state and it's for a criminal act is that, you know, for instance, if we said drones are good, drones are bad, and it was the state of Louisiana suing the federal government for allowing drone flights because they're dangerous, then DJI could get into that because it's a corporate type
A blanket,
case.
yeah.
When it's an individual litigation, the issue there is that they would have to be 110% sure that who they're backing is whiter than white and is 100% correct in what he's in his case, and that's the problem. That it's, you know, when you get down to that local level, anybody corporate wise, anybody federal wise is just nope, that's nothing to do with me.
Yeah, but this could snowball across the states.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Or other countries.
Yes. Yeah, certainly across states, certainly across the United States should be, and it's in my opinion as well, it's the public perception that gets damaged here, because you have a situation the same as drone near misses, and you know, in the UK we had 250 near misses reported, and 0 of them were actually proven to be a drone. There was 0 evidence on any of them coming near aircraft. However, all 250 of those cases were reported in the press as drone near misses. So your Joe Public in the UK, if quizzed about drones, would probably have some awareness of those stories and would certainly feel that drones were dangerous around aircraft without any kind of evidence there whatsoever. And that's the problem with this type of thing, is that, you know, your average Joe sat in, I keep using California, Florida, downtown Miami, reading the papers, and a guy's been convicted of 3 counts of flying a drone over the neighbors and, you know, surveilling and that type of thing. And then it's like, see dear, I told you drones are bad. And that's part of the wider problem is the perception that it begins to create in the public's mind. And then of course, when something comes out, when a piece of legislation comes out to restrict drone use, the public are much more willing to see that go through, unfortunately due to misinformation. This rant by Sean at Geeksvana is over.
Did you record this?
Not that I feel strongly about any of that, of course, you know.
Did you record this for a show?
I've said it so many times.
I also want to thank you, Sean, because I just knew you had all the angles, and we were sitting here speculating and demonstrating that we're just upset and don't understand why this poor guy is being picked on. But you brought a lot to the game here.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I think you have to mark on that as well. What Hugh was saying, as far as, you know, okay, whether or not the state law itself holds up to federal scrutiny is a different thing. But if there is a state law that says don't do this, you do it, and then your neighbor comes to you and says please don't do that, there has to be a point where you say, I mean, I call myself a permission flyer. Everywhere I fly my drone, I have permission to be in. Be that because it's a wide open park and there's no one around, fine. But you know, every building I fly, everything else like that, I've always got permission of the building owner and that type of thing to fly my drone in the area. So you know, there are multiple viewpoints here which are perfectly valid.
So Sean, it's your understanding that this is not a one-up situation, that there's been this conflict going on between them. Could be over other things, could be over his drone flying, it could be a lot of things, and it escalated.
There is history there. There are other disputes in the past. which is
Any
probably
other,
not as
but any
fun.
other confrontations about the drone flying with him?
I would suggest that we would talk about that another time
Okay,
off,
okay.
off air, because also, you know, I wouldn't want to say something which is unproven, and then that's on Roger's stream as well, of course.
So that answer then, I'm taking it as it could be. Don't know.
You really should have more guests on your show on Monday nights and quiz them like this. That's what is the politician's answer. Well, Mr. Murray, all I can say about that is that it's a very complicated situation. There are many angles which have to be assessed. There are many viewpoints. We have to respect the state of Louisiana's local laws.
Remember, Sean.
And of course, remember federal regulations.
No,
Thank
Sean,
you.
this is an American/Canadian.
Yeah, good point.
So I can neither confirm or deny that accusation.
Yes.
It's all you have to say.
Well, I'm going to start a new campaign to make Sean the drone judge international, so that he would decide cases. Boom.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm losing you.
That's the other one. It's not a very good phone line.
Oh no! I had a power cut. Turn off! Come on! Oh damn! It's daytime. It didn't go dark. Yeah, I'm more than happy staying as the drone reporter. Thank you very much.
Well, and I think that you do some fantastic reporting. You do a deep dive into other things where most people just speculate. And I like to thank you for that, Sean.
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I also want to thank you for the eye candy too. Thank you.
Did you watch last night?
Oh yeah.
Did you the new camera, the new microphone? We can hear her much better now.
Oh,
Can't you?
much
And
better.
she's not competing
and
over
the
me.
camera was much better too.
Yeah, Lib is an absolute star. She's going to be around the channel a lot more on an ongoing basis, and as a new, and also, Paul, can I thank you for becoming a new member of the channel? And as a member, you are going to see an awful lot more of Lib as well, including we've got an outtakes video coming up very soon, which is hilarious, and it is rated R for certain. With just her reactions to making mistakes on camera.
The thing of it is we could sit here and talk about how she's nothing but eye candy, but she's intelligent, she's smart,
incredible,
she's entertaining.
Yeah,
her expressions are just fantastic.
I look forward to the day when a channel with 100 million subs comes along and says, "Come on, we're taking you over here, much bigger," or frankly TV. But I actually think she's too good for TV. But I'm very lucky to have her involved in the channel, and I will be very grateful for the amount of time that she's with us. Actually, John Cooper, I don't know whether you saw the replay to our live stream, but we featured your drone crashes.
Yes,
and we left the swearing in.
No spoilers, please. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. You're on just when Lindsay gets in from work. I can't watch them live anymore.
Yes, no, indeed. I saw you say that when we were on Matt's stream. So, and we had El Smeghead on for about 20 seconds, and the entire internet broke when we tried to bring him in. So we're definitely dropping Skype for the next one. We'll be using something else to bring people in. But yeah, that was fun. I ended up playing the same viewer video about 4 times in a row whilst I was in the background. So my reaction was recorded, so I might actually release that at some point with bleeps. Sort of what happens behind the scenes when a live stream goes wrong. It was Carpenter Rick, the Echo. I think what with the Echo side of things, I think what happened is Andy, who had 1 or 2 drinks due to it being his birthday, 1 or 2, 12. He had it on speaker, so unfortunately it was coming out of the loudspeaker and going straight back in the microphone. So yes, which is a shame because he had some very funny things planned. He was going to shave his head live on air. which has nothing to do with drones, but it would have been pretty funny.
If he put an H on the top as he shaved it, then it could have been.
It could have been even more in keeping, couldn't it? both for drones and for his El Smeghead Red Dwarf connections as well, of course.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah.
Oh, thanks, Blind Neil. I appreciate it, and I appreciate, we haven't been streaming for very long. I really appreciate everyone's support. It makes it a lot of fun. I'm 92% of the way there with the tech, so it's now becoming a position where, for I'd say about 50 or 60% of the show last night, I actually did just relax and enjoy it.
Well, that's good.
Which I think is nice because it comes across better to the audience, doesn't it? That when the host is relaxed and chilling out. So. And it helped that Libby had the new microphone, so when she spoke, we could actually hear her. So
Yep.
I wasn't talking over her the whole time.
Well, I thought it was your show, Sean, keeps getting better every time you do it.
Thank you, sir. That is the main aim. And it all started here when I came on Canadian Drone Hub.
Well, Roger has a way of literally through the medium putting his arm around you and just kind of escorting you along.
Exactly.
And then he like releases you into the universe.
The drone quad father.
Yep,
Whilst we're doing it, I have to give a shout out. I know he won't be watching because he's not on YouTube much these days, but Russ from Droning About Northwest, and Ashley, because they're the ones that pulled me from behind the camera doing voiceover videos to actually being in front of it. So if you don't like me and you wish I would leave YouTube, I suggest you go to Droning About Northwest and leave a comment. It's your fault. You started this.
His dad now is pretty much turned over that business to him, and he's running around in circles trying to.
Yeah, it's a serious operation. So it's which is fantastic. It's great. I still follow the Ward House on Instagram, which is one of their more active social medias. It's great to see the family growing, the kids growing, and they always look so happy and like literally. I know it's only social media, but they really do look like the ideal American family. And I hope they come back one day. As I email him about once a month and say, "You coming back yet? You coming back yet? You coming back?"
Paul, are you having camera problems?
Is it okay now?
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was showing you out of focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is yours a Logitech?
Yep.
Yeah, mine does that occasionally as well.
Yeah.
And even because I saw you putting the hand up, so I thought, he's trying to get the autofocus working.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, trying to do it.
Yeah, it's exactly what mine does. I've actually switched now to on the live streams to using an actual Canon camera because they released that free software to turn your Canon camera into a
different
webcam.
subject, but it has to do with cameras. What somebody said that Olympus now is getting out of the camera business.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. They are out of here, but Olympus have basically decided that they're no longer going to be producing cameras under their name. I think they sold all the IP to someone else, so you might actually still see an Olympus branded camera, but it won't be made by Olympus.
Sean, what's that Canon download called?
Yeah, it is called. I'm actually thinking about doing a video on it because whenever I mention this, people are like, "Hey, hang on."
Ooh, hey.
It's Canon. Let me actually if I switch my camera to it.
Sure.
Because it's not plugged in, it will come up and tell you it. There you go. EOS Webcam Utility Beta. And if you go to the Canon website and go into the correct link, which I should be able to find you.
I got it right now. I'm looking at it.
Oh, excellent. And it has a list of available cameras, but they are adding to that list constantly. So they are updating the list with more cameras.
I'm on the list, baby.
And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's up to 30 frames a second. And all you have to do is connect the HDMI to a USB and it works. There's nothing else. One thing I would recommend is don't download anything else. There's lots of other gorgeous software on there for the Canons. But because this is in beta, it conflicts with them. So only download the webcam. If that's what you're wanting to use it for as a webcam, only download the webcam beta.
I'd like to try it, yeah.
My entire stream last night was on that webcam beta, and it was beautiful because, of course, I had bokeh going on. I had a 22 mil, had a 22 mil prime lens, so my background was nice and blurry and everything. And I could hold something up to the camera, and it focuses like that on it. So
nice.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. Yes, absolutely, Blind Neil. I mentioned this a week or two ago, and I think David was looking into it at that point for his Canon.
Yeah, camera's still not on the list.
Because there are some really old ones on the list as well, actually. So I suppose it must be to do with the internals.
Yeah, it's
Thank you, John
mirrorless.
Peepy.
It's Lindsay's mirrorless I'm trying to get working for her with it,
Yes.
and it's not appeared.
Oh, I've just taken delivery of the. I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen the ZV-1, which is being touted as the best YouTuber creator vlog camera, basically. But it
Nice.
has a lot of the features of the larger mirrorless cameras, and 4K, all of those capabilities. But
So
in
that's
a very
tripod
small package.
or permanent mount, or you can carry it. Is that?
You can
Yeah.
carry it. It actually comes with its own little tripod with the buttons on the tripod as well, actually, which is quite handy.
Oh,
But it has an auto bokeh mode. There's a button on the top which, if you press it, it takes care of the settings for you and blurs your background, which I've been testing this morning. Yes,
Wow.
I will find the link, Man Cave, on it right now. Or Hugh, if you've got it open in front of you, would you put the link in the chat
Yeah. Can you put the
to
link
the
in?
Canon?
Oh, you just
Oh.
popped it.
I think he's trying to switch to his camera. I will find that right now.
So,
What
Sean,
kind
I'm
of-
glad you came in this morning to straighten everybody out. Thank you.
Everybody had everyone's opinion is valid, isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that is what, as I keep saying, that is the thing with these
Don't try
situations.
to install it when you're live on Zoom.
Yeah.
Just crash my system. Sorry.
Top tip.
What's the price on that, Sean?
This one, I got this on a creators program, so I didn't pay the ticket price, but it's £700.
Oh, God.
I think it's around the similar for the US, $700 or so dollars. But you know,
does it have auto stability mode and all that kind of
yes,
stuff?
yes, yeah. I mean, they are calling it the perfect vlogging camera. I mean, I'm not a
So you
vlogger.
can walk with it, and
so-
it's not going to bounce up and down like this. And
Yes, that's right. Yeah, there are limitations to that, but it also has a beauty mode where it analyzes your face for the first few seconds and it removes all the zits and colorations.
I
and
need that mode.
It's so clever. That is
Yeah,
one thing
but
I
you
have
wouldn't-
already tested.
But
It's
David,
very
you
clever.
wouldn't have a beard then.
that
Exactly.
The name of that camera is a Sony
ZV-1,
ZB1.
Zulu Victor 1. Okay, I've just found the link.
And Sean put the link
Asgard,
in
thank you,
for
sir.
the Canon.
Thanks, Hugh. Hugh's
Yeah,
just
got
done
it.
that. Perfect. But yeah, it's actually a channel I follow. Actually, if people are YouTubers, and as in you're wanting to up your YouTube game, there's a channel that you wouldn't automatically emanate towards. I'm going to make sure I get the name absolutely correct before I send someone to some ASMR soap cutting channel. Alpha Gaming, which is basically he's a very large gamer. He's on Twitch and on Facebook, and you know he has a very large following with his games, playing games, etc. And he's hugely successful. I mean, this channel's got 293,000 subscribers, but he does fantastic reviews on microphones, on PC setups, camera setups, webcam setups. Very, very, very impressive. In actual fact, this microphone that I've got here, which is a new one, the Elgato, he was actually pulled in to help develop it. So he's also someone that the manufacturers listen to.
Oh.
You just have to put up with the big blonde. He's got a big blonde quiff, and he's far too good looking.
Yeah, just looked up the price here in Canada, $999,
Holy crap.
$1,000 Canadian.
That whole Canadian ad thing, plus.
That's no
crazy.
tax. Oh, you got to add no 13% on that for tax.
And it's not, it's not a particularly huge camera either. Let me get it out here.
Yeah, I'm
Kind of
surprised
an
my
unboxing.
Canon was on the list. I have an old Canon 80D, so it's not exactly.
Yeah.
A newish camera.
You'll find with some of the older ones, the resolution isn't as flexible.
Yeah.
So it'll be 1050 by something rather than 1920.
Oh,
But when you
Really?
stretch it and resize it and have it scale to fit for Zoom, you don't notice.
yeah.
No one but you going back later and saying, "Oh, if that had more pixels," especially bearing in mind that Zoom only broadcasts at 720p. So,
Oh.
that's it there. I'm sorry, I haven't got any. Let me get a little
Right,
light.
that's small, isn't it?
Guys, I got a Canon Rebel 12 megapixel, but it only doesn't do video. So
Yeah, it's the M100 Lindsay uses, and it's, as I say, it's not on the list yet. However, I can bypass that with this little bit of hardware. It's a video capture bug.
Okay.
So it just plugs into the HDMI port into the thing, and it's a webcam. But it's mine. I want to use it.
My precious.
Use my cell phone.
Well, Kim, if you're on the computer,
There you
email
go.
has just
Oh, yeah.
That's the size
Oh,
of
yeah.
it. It has a little flip out screen, which is handy.
yeah,
And as I say, it has a little button here, C1, and all you do is you press that, and then the little screen comes up with the little red marker. Yes, there's no memory card. I know that.
So tiny.
These don't always deal with little cameras very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, indeed, yes.
Well, it does have a handle. It has a handle that goes underneath, right? Like a tripod.
Yeah, there's a
mount?
little tripod that comes out the bottom of it. One thing I think, the screen coming out and everything is very, very good. I'm going to do a comparison against my Canon M50 and see how it goes, because I love my Canon M50, and if it doesn't stack, it will be going back. It has to earn its keep. Oh, I've spent so
I
much money on
suppose though,
tech
if you're
recently.
doing it professional or something, might work there. But just for us, like the average person, you're not going to spend $1,000 for a camera.
Not a compact as well, of course. It's unless you are doing YouTubing relatively seriously, or as you say, professional. And I think actually professional probably wouldn't go for this type of camera anyway.
Well, you go
so-
for a GoPro or something different or whatever, right?
Yes, yeah. Well, in actual fact, the number one camera that I think is just such an awesome piece of kit is the Osmo Action. Up until about 4 weeks ago, every single video on my channel was filmed with the Osmo Action.
Wow.
Which surprises some people, because it's when you get the manual settings and you play with the ISO and the shutter speed and everything, it's surprisingly versatile, and it would get, of course, because it's so small as well. I'm in a small studio. It means I could record. It has a very good field of view, so I could actually have the camera quite close and still get all of my background in, etc. So.
Wasn't there a patent note or something for DJI for another camera?
Yes, the which then got the frenzy going about the Mavic 3 coming out soon again. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? There's if you look actually how many patents that DJI have and how many they bring out in an average year, there's a lot. Yes. Don't you hate it when you have one screw left over?
Yeah.
Yes. I have to find it, because otherwise I'll come to find this camera stand, this camera mount, and then I'll be like, oh, the plate's not on there. Where did I put the plate?
Hey, Carpenter Rick, thanks. Thank you very much, Carpenter Rick. Much appreciated.
Oh, I haven't had a coffee in many a year.
Yeah.
It's a nice ship leaving there, Paul.
Yeah, that's Joseph. That's the hull of an older ship where they cut it off and they put a seagoing tug in the back, and it's a tug barge combination is what we call it. But that used to be its own ship, and it was called the Joseph T. Thompson. And
I
the
love
tug
those. I
that's
love
pushing-
that.
The tug in the back here, when it goes by, you'll see it has a different name on the stern of it.
Is it the one that is at the star where the tug is actually integrated into the
Yep.
back of the ship fully?
Yep,
And
they
I love
put a
that.
V in the back and put it in there.
It fascinates me.
Yeah.
Some junk in your trunk.
Exactly right. it's a clever way of extending the life of the
whole
vessel
Oh, yeah, for sure.
from a delivery point of view. Oh, there you go. Herman uses it for his videos as well. Yeah, the actions of a surprisingly good little camera. The focus on it is excellent.
It's amazing what you can do with these small cameras. I know there's a couple of channels that I watch that are over 100K subscribed, actually over 1 million subscribers, and they predominantly use just the GoPro.
Yeah, but you know that also comes down to the skills of the editor, and you know it's that old thing of, you know, a great oh my god, my brain today. It's
Any tool in the hands of a master, right? An inferior tool in the hand of a maestro.
Yes, blaming your tools is exactly. So yeah, it's very much the case of that, because I look at some of these videos and they're saying, oh, this new camera is $150 and it can produce the same quality as a DSLR, says Peter McKinnon. You know, obviously Peter McKinnon like sets it up perfectly.
Peter McKinnon, for God's
he
sakes.
edits it perfectly.
Yeah.
He color grades it perfectly. Of course, it's gonna. You know, I could send him a video from my 43 years ago of my birth, and he'd probably make it look like it happened today. You know, so, the skills of these people are incredible.
Yeah. The advantage with the GoPro stuff as well is that they have a lot of input into what goes into the bigger editors. So shortly after a GoPro 5000, whatever it's up to now, comes out, there'll be an update to things like DaVinci and Filmora and that, and then you go into the camera correction, and there's a whole list of automatic correcting the camera, so you get rid of all the strange
that's right
ballooning and jello and that, and they're nearly always all GoPros because they're pumping the money into them. And
exactly.
Yeah,
it's good, and that helps a lot of people, because then you're able to buy an off-the-shelf camera, buy the software, and okay, you're investing, but once that investment's finished, you do end up with nice looking video.
Yeah.
Well, look what those Newfound Drones did the other day. Took a drone video and made it look like it was made back in the 1930s or something.
I did that.
That was David.
I got one of those. Yeah, that was me. That was with Filmora.
Yeah.
Is that on your channel?
Yeah, it's called Early Drones. I'll go and get the link and pop it up for you. Sure.
So I am.
Oh, that was you, David. That's right. Okay, yeah.
I have an afternoon off this
I was thinking it was
afternoon.
Newfound Drones.
I'm going to be watching lots of channels, which unfortunately, as a creator, you don't get to do as much anymore. It's kind of like, you know, you become a fan of YouTube. You watch so much YouTube. You think, perhaps I could do that. You start doing it, and then you're like, you then don't get to watch much YouTube anymore, and then you miss all this stuff. You know, you're like, oh, I actually miss watching people.
I'm just putting it in the.
Oh, I didn't get notified.
It was first of April. Yeah, 1st of April out.
I just went over and hit the like button, Roger.
Oh. Yes, everybody, please hit that like button. Thank you all so much.
I hit the dislike button, so I wanted a bit of balance.
Oh no! Now I know why Asgard's got his hammer out. You hit the dislike button.
I hammered the like button, so if it's dented in a little bit, that was me. Sorry.
Yeah, well, Neil, exactly. I've got a feeling that many of them didn't realise it was a 1st of April April Fool's spoof and thought it was the real thing.
Is it your Canon that you use for your videos, David?
No, that was shot with the drone mostly.
Right.
But most
your headshot stuff, is that what's that? What do you use for
that's
that?
done with a Panasonic something or other. This kind of thing, if it'll.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
this is my old one, which I'm planning to use as a webcam.
Yeah.
That's a JVC.
It's a great picture.
But the stills are mostly done with the M100 these days. The Pentax is largely retired. and I do most of the videoing with either the drone or that camera, or the Panasonic version of that.
It's a great video.
And the other one is what do you call it? The Canon does video as well. So if Lindsay's out for a walk without me, she'll sometimes shoot a bit of video.
There's the Spark. There's the Beast with its landing gear.
Oh, at the end, yeah. Those legs are just enough to lift it out of the mud. And
yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's brilliant.
And if the Chinese ever do send me my flashing LEDs, there'll be one on one of the front legs and one on one of the back legs.
At the flight 101 says that he went from the GoPro all the way to the Osmo Pocket.
Yeah.
I've been looking.
Sorry, David.
Yeah, I was going to say I've been looking at another sort of vlogging camera. We used to have a little one we could, chat away and wide angle GoPro style thing, and it's probably going to end up being an Action.
Osmo Action, excellent. Yeah. I cannot recommend it more. The front screen's handy as well, and it's voice activation, so you can say switch screen and it will bring the front screen up. You can tell it to start recording and stop recording and that type of thing. I was going to say,
is it like the GoPro where you can say stop recording and it ignores you completely? Yeah.
And unlike the Osmo Pocket, it's already Wi-Fi enabled, so you can actually use the app. So I have when I used to use it as my main camera, I would have my app running here on my phone on a little holder just out of shot, and it's basically a studio monitor to show me exactly what's in the frame, and how much cat hair is on my t-shirt that day.
I don't know how much actual vlogging I'll do with it, but what I will probably do it's to have with me, so I've got a camera if something happens. I wish I'd had my camera with me. I've got something like that in my pocket.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hardy little thing. The little case it comes, the little holder it comes in, is really strong. I have put it through some punishment. So I've put a cold shoe on top of it. But the holder it comes in it's one of those clever ones where it's just up in the right places, lipped in the right places to really protect everything. So if I now throw it against the floor, no, I'm joking, but if I do drop it, it really stands up well. The lens is a little bit exposed because it's out the front there. So
well, and what I liked about it too, Sean, is that it's really affordable.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
because they could have marketed that at probably, in my mind, 25 to 30% higher price, and still sold them.
Having used it, I would have paid 25% more for that, certainly. And there are some good sales on at the moment as well, aren't there, at DJI? Or they have been recently. As John Coopy told me right after I showed everybody my new Ronin SC gimbal. Thanks, John Coopy. How much did you pay, Sean? How much did you pay? Father's Day sales.
Oh, John was on that like a frog on a June bug. I'll tell you what, he went right after that.
Has he ordered the FPV? Do you know?
Oh yeah, but you know what? It's still stuck in China.
China. Good morning, kids. I use nearly exclusively GoPros, but my content is really made for GoPros. I'm looking to move over to the Panasonic GH5. Contemplate 101.
Nice. Yeah, nice. It's a nice camera.
Neil says, check the Walmart further.
Yeah, I've heard good things about them, especially for the price point. One brand that I had, which was a cheaper one, which did quite well, was the Crosstour action cam, which I think it was on a half price sale down to £60, and that was pretty good. It was as you'd expect for a camera of that price. It had its limitations, but it was pretty good. I think the cheaper cameras could do with focusing on doing one or two things really well, rather than actually trying to be cheaper and pack more features in than a DJI has or something. I think they should You know, they should
Yeah.
not compete and be their own marketplace.
Well, at some point in time, depending upon if you were using it commercially, which I know nobody probably would, but if you needed a camera as a throwaway camera, like on the front of a car going into a wall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and still get a very good high quality picture, because the Rocksteady on the Osmo Action is brilliant.
Yep.
It's very good. It does clip you by about 15% of the picture, but then it's very, very stable. You would afterwards you would feel like you might have had a gimbal on there. It's very good.
You see the temperature in Alaska this morning?
No.
39.
Okay.
That's a little chilly.
Okay, Capture Life, and I'll check out your video later, my friend. Capture Life
I
connection.
see you, Captured Life. Great to see you.
Yeah, take care, Capture Life. Just to change the subject a minute, back to something we were talking about yesterday and guns. Something's been going on in Glasgow this morning, and I've been a little distracted because I've been following it. But we were talking about armed police yesterday in the UK. Now this is an armed policeman in Glasgow this morning. Don't know if you can see that. He's not in uniform or anything, just you can see the uniforms with their yellow vests and that on in the background.
Okay.
They're a specialised unit in
Yeah.
the UK. They don't carry arms routinely except at airports.
Do you know that that chap is he's not actually a police officer?
Quite probably, because he's
Yeah, they've got 3 branches now of not SAS, but of different branches towards that level of skill, who are on secondant to the police.
Yeah.
So they carry a badge, but yeah, they are.
Over here, that would be like an auxiliary person. You know, they're not in uniform, and
yeah,
but
it's our anti-terror people essentially.
Yeah,
it's
the
a way of
anti-terror
having
people, yeah.
it's a way of having highly skilled troops on the streets, because in this country, as David's saying, the only place that they carry live ammo in, the rifles, is at airports. Otherwise, it's actually for instance, even soldiers on parade, etc., and soldiers, there has to be a parliamentary permission given for them to carry.
Yeah, for all the parades I've done when I was in the military, I actually had ammunition on the streets once.
Yeah, exactly.
Just once.
It's highly regulated here, even for the armed forces and the police. But then these specialised units were given new powers after, obviously, September 11th and our own 7/7 attacks, etc. And they allowed these specialised military units to be on secondant to people like the Metropolitan Police, people like Police Scotland. So they essentially we have our own little military units who are our terror reaction force. But to obviously keep things, it sounds very scary, doesn't it, that the army's on the streets. So if you secondant them across to the police and give them a badge, then of course it's much more acceptable to the public.
You're exactly right, Sean. That's the part that I find kind of sadly humorous, is they don't want anybody with a gun on the street until they want somebody with a gun on the street.
Well, that's yeah.
Can I want to read out what Broke Next wrote down. I'm excited. I got an email from Skydio.
Yes.
At the plant. They're shipping.
Yeah. Not only are they back into a production, but they've used the downtime to enhance their production. So in fact, they're coming back with a much higher level of production. And there's also apparently a very nice update in there that is improving the issues people were having with landing. So that's very exciting for people that are waiting for Skydio. Of course, not us in Europe, because we're not good enough.
Yeah.
Why sell us a drone?
Yeah, Broke Necks. There's good and bad in both forces. It's nothing to do with whether they're armed or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
100% agree. But yes,
Yeah.
it's one of those topics that I always I have to stop British friends from talking about when they're guns in America are bad, and it's like the cultures are so different.
So different, yeah.
You are literally talking about different worlds.
Chalk
So
and
to
cheese.
try and and I always say to them, if you lived out in the proper sticks in the US, I mean the proper sticks, you are talking about a long time before emergency services would ever reach you when you dial 911.
Yeah.
You want to be able to defend yourself, as simple as
Well,
that.
and the other thing too is because there are guns here in our country, you don't hear about terrorist attacks with machetes or knives because it wouldn't
Yes.
last long.
Yes, although the reason they are those types of attacks in this country at the moment is because that's all they can get hold of. Which
Right, exactly. The
so-
terrorists will use whatever they can get a hold of. Yes.
Yeah, and which was case in point with the London Bridge attack, which was a higher van, which was one of the main weapons used.
Which was
there,
used as a weapon, yeah.
Yeah, which they weighed down with concrete to stop it so it had more
Yeah.
pushing power.
It's a stabbing this morning, as it turns out. Three dead
Yes.
so far. The reason it had my attention was because my sister-in-law lives right at the end of that street. So it was
Has she checked in?
well, it's 4 males that have been taken to hospital,
Okay.
and so it's not her.
That's good.
So
And also, as Brokenness was saying about police, that whether they've got armed or not, the terror attack the other day in the UK, where 3 people were killed with a stabbing, they were actually taken down by unarmed local officers in what's called an area car. So you're talking about the same guy that will tell a kid to stop riding his bike on the pavement and take him home to his parents and tell them. That's the same level of officer that very skillfully rugby tackled the suspect to the ground. So absolutely, just a gun in their hand doesn't really change anything as such, but it's certainly a very final solution.
Next says, while I'm actually in the stick, so I'm always
Hours away. Yeah.
Services.
As he says, he's been more worried about the wildlife, and we're broken.
Exactly right.
Grizzly bear after you or something, you know what I mean?
It's incredible.
So, and what I noticed, maybe I'm just not seeing it, Sean. Do you have as much threats from terrorist activities from bombs as we here in the United States?
Yes, although you have to then take into account the history that we have with the Irish separatists, the IRA. For instance, London has more explosive detection equipment in the streets than probably the entire United States of America. Our cities are highly protected because of an unfortunate history. So we get less of that now, and of course the police over those years have become very, very good at stopping the supply chains.
Supply chain and counter terrorism is superb in this country, purely because of the years and years of training they've had.
Decades, which is the same as
when I was younger, all you were hearing about is the IRA bombings. IRA bombings. That's when I was younger.
Right.
That's the only thing we were hearing on the news,
And as David, who of course has served, thank you, David, will attest. There was a good chunk of time there where our troops were training troops across the world in urban combat, mainly because of the IRA situation, where they would have to go house to house in some parts of Northern Ireland to hunt suspects, etc. And again, they became so highly trained at operating safely within urban areas, they actually became world experts in it. So it's similar with the explosive sides of things.
I did
thankfully
a week's training with a bunch of other people, a week's training with the SAS at Hereford, not going through anything like they did, just learning to clear buildings, learning to check buildings and that. It was a scary week or two we were down there, but you learn a lot, and you just hope you never have to use it.
yeah, it's hard to learn you're never actually in control of a situation, isn't it? Because obviously in an urban environment, you've never got control. But of course now the American forces are experts after Afghanistan and Iraq, etc. And
Yeah,
other,
they've had
other
the same
yeah,
crash
other-
course, as it were.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, it's something we've all had to get used to. So yeah, I mean, that's one thing I do have to take my hat off in this country is the way they've responded to terror and the way that they've managed to put enough into place that you feel as safe as you can. I say in inverted commas, but it doesn't feel intrusive either.
They always have the advantage. That's the problem. You're reacting to something. You can't.
Yeah.
You can be proactive in the way you defend, but we're just
Exactly.
not in a position to be proactive, truly proactive.
How do you truly defend against someone who says, I'm going to do something like what's happened today and the other day at some point in the next month, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the shop that day and buy a knife and go out? That's almost impossible to legislate or to police against. So yeah. But yeah, as I say, two different cultures. And I always try and explain that to my British friends when they get on their soapboxes. They should just ban guns. Okay, yeah, that'll solve it. That's a great idea.
What would happen if they did?
Civil war, yes.
Yeah. there would be another civil war.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see Paul didn't sleep too well last night.
Now,
well, there's a couple of Brits talking about America. That's probably what's put.
Yeah, that's right.
no, actually, I think the conversations have been really good today. We should talk about drones, but right now there's not a lot going on with the drones other than that court case and some other things. And but Sean, you kind of touched on the one down in Nashville, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's still proceeding.
Yeah, that's all been bounced to September. But Benjamin has had the advantage that he had people like Ryan and other people in and around him very early on, so he got some very, very good advice, and it's proceeding very well for him. I think my prediction would be, but by this time next year he'll actually be in a position where he may have even won a case against them. So yeah, he's on pretty solid ground, but you never know.
It's the same situation. He's fighting against local government too, right?
Correct, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Where is this, in Kentucky?
Nashville. Yeah.
Nashville.
Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah, Tennessee.
And he is an owner of a business.
Yes.
And he decided to go up and get some shots over top of buildings, Sean.
Yeah, he is a hobbyist pilot who owns Mavic Air 2, and the first part of the protests turned very slightly ugly, where he had to close his business, evacuate everybody out, minor bits of damage, that type of thing, and not to his business but to other areas. So there was that context as well. And then this day of protest was a lot lighter. There weren't as many people in the crowd. So he actually wanted to put the drone up, one from a surveillance point of view to see what was happening from a business owner point of view, but also of course to capture images of it because he is a drone enthusiast. So he had a couple of reasons to be up there. And yeah, he checked with the first officer who gave him some caveats and some advice about watch out if anybody's throwing anything at it, that type of thing. Excuse me, sorry. And then it was the second officer that approached that then subsequently arrested him, unfortunately.
And of course, there is a new drone due out in a few days.
Yes. Well, yes. But again, as my video on that says, we don't know what it will be. It was quite nice actually. The first time it's happened, that I quoted the global PR and communications director of Parrot in my video, and she actually shared my video. So I was like, oh, okay, we actually got something right for once. Then the manufacturer themselves has decided to share the video, which has helped the video do very well actually, which I'm very thankful for. But it's off the back of the ANAFI, the Parrot contract to build the military drone, and they're basically going to be releasing a public version of it. But it's probably going to be quite specialized if it's going to have thermal on there and everything else like that. It just depends what they how many
It-
levels of drone they end up
The,
releasing.
the part that I find highly, not amusing, but confusing, I guess, is that they're touting the Anafi as kind of the anti-Chinese drone,
Yes,
but yet it's not an American drone.
it actually is an American drone.
It's being built here and manufactured here
Yes,
and assembled here.
The new Anafi, when it comes out on the 30th, and the one for the military is actually being built by a company called Neotech. And Neotech are a trusted manufacturer within the aeronautic sector, medical. When there's something that needs to be built for a government contract, they're one of the people that build it. And Parrot have actually transferred all of their intellectual property over to Neotech servers. So you've essentially got an American trusted supply chain that's good enough that the Department of Defense trust. And then you have the French company's designs and everything being implemented by that company.
Well,
So
what's the question? The other question I had, Sean, is, and I don't know if you touched on it or not, but I heard it other places, is that the data sourcing and everything is going to be held in France, not in the United States.
That depends. As it is at the moment, they're held on European servers, but the again, it depends on what part of the system they release to who on the 30th. So
Okay.
we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
That could change.
Because this drone that's coming out, although it looks like an Anafi, is completely different.
Okay.
There's one still picture in my video, and it's on Drone XL's website, who kindly allowed me to share those pictures. That it actually shows the existing Anafi next to the military grade one, and although it kind of looks the same, they're very, very different. So I would say it's almost going to be the difference between a Mavic Mini and a Mavic 2 Pro, from the point of view that
Or
they
like
kind of look the same.
Like a 6-cylinder Mustang versus a souped up Mustang.
Yes, sir.
They
sir.
look alike,
Yes.
but they're not alike.
Exactly. But it is exciting that it will be US built. It's exciting from the point of view that hopefully, if it's as good as it says it is, the military will then have a short range reconnaissance drone,
Sure.
which they have full approval to get on and use, and get, they've made it as well that it's deployable within 10 minutes and takes half a day's training for the personnel or the military personnel using it. So I think that sounds like a pretty good thing.
Well, what's your take or insights on Honeywell just announced that they're getting into the drone business?
I think you're going to see that with a lot more companies. There is going to be the drone sphere, and the drone market is going to change so dramatically in the next 10 years, because you're now looking at a situation where the urban air mobility, the UTM side of things, delivery drones, everything else like that, is going to be worth, if we were to look at a pie chart in 10 years time of the value of the drone market, our little hobby is going to be this little sliver here, and then everything else around it is going to eclipse it. So you're going to see many more large companies like Honeywell,
especially large companies that might already have an aerospace division.
Yes, exactly. Which in fact, Neotech, who are building the drone for Parrot, that's exactly who they are. They're in the aerospace industry already. Yeah. So I think, I don't want to preempt, but I think certainly the military grade one is going to be a very well built, very capable little machine. I think it's going to be a very good tool for the military to use, because certainly my Anafi goes into a tiny little bag. So we're talking about something that the trained personnel within a unit that's deployed are going to be able to get really good data very, very quickly.
Well, maybe Sean. Do you remember the ones that made kind of fame or fortune for whoever owns it? But I can't remember the company that made the little ones that
yes.
Single rotor on top of the tail.
Yes.
And they just held them in their hands and threw them in the air.
That's right. Yes, and in fact they are in use now, and they are. It is something which the armies of around the world have in use. You actually don't hear as much publicity a lot about them now because they are in use, if that makes sense. So it's something they don't necessarily want people to hear an awful lot about.
But I was trying to figure out, is that a Boeing product or General Dynamics or?
That was made by, because it was the Black Hornet personal reconnaissance system.
Yes.
But I can't actually remember who the manufacturer was on that one, because I know
remember they call it the Hornet, but you know it's one of the big boys.
Yes, that's right. But I think it was a combination of, again, towards a government contract, rather than it being a specific manufacturer touting it to them. So I know it was Pentagon funded.
It was developed by Prox Dynamics in Norway, and a company called FLIR Unmanned Aerial Systems is the manufacturer. FLIR.
FLIR are the tech side of it. But again, I think rather than being a specific, this is a Boeing or something like that, it is a group that's come together.
Consortium.
Because at the moment it's deployed with Australia, Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, the UK, United States, France, Spain, and India.
Yeah,
so
that's the one that surprises me. The UK.
Yes. Although it might also surprise you to know that the UK has 4 fully funded swarm drone projects in place at the moment, which the UK government are funding.
I didn't know there was 4, but I knew they exist.
Yeah, they're really into it. They really want to control those crowds.
Hey, Roger, you're being awful chatty this morning.
I'm learning.
Well, the swarm drone industry seems like the coming thing for reconnaissance, law enforcement, all of those types of industries, Sean. But swarm drones are nice for entertainment if you put lights on them, but they're not useful for delivery or for private.
Well, no. Yeah, the biggest use of swarm drones is pretty much the battle between Turkey and Russia at the moment. Turkey keep coming up with these swarm drones that can deploy munitions and little kamikaze drones, and Russia keeps coming up with equipment to counter those. So that's a bit of an arms race all by itself at the moment. So the swarm drones are leaping forward in advancement just because of that one little Cold War type battle that's going on between those two countries. Which is incredible when you think about it.
No way one of us can afford one of those. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think the next big manufacturers that will come in will be once remote ID is in, once UTM is in, and that type of thing. I think you're going to see companies like Sony will bring out highly automated versions of the Skydio, and it will literally be the phone that turns into a drone. So you just throw your phone in the air, it starts flying and takes pictures of you, and it's fully automated. You don't control it. It knows where it's allowed to go and not allowed to go, and that type of thing.
I've often been known to throw my phone in the air and not being in control of it.
I have a little. My screen protector has a little nick out of it that says the same. Actually, so, isn't that a cute little pussycat?
Yeah,
that's my little boy. Bless him.
Oh yeah, I probably won't be around to see it, but you youngins will in the future. Is going to be. I don't know how young I am. In 10 years, oh my.
Yeah. I mean, the time I would like to be around is in 40. I think then we'll see.
That'll be come up with a couple of drones that'll carry your casket over and draw it at the ground.
Yeah. There you go. Funeral drone. Okay, where do I sign?
I'm afraid.
I'll just get my credit card. Hang on.
I'm afraid I'm disappointed, because when I was growing up, remember I'm 60 now. When I was growing up and watching 21st century television, when Super Marionation, there was all sorts going to be happening by this time, and it just hasn't happened.
The TV program 1999 has a lot to answer for.
Okay, well, next, have a good one at work, and you be safe now.
Well, there's two things that I was looking forward to, was having my own made Rosie the robot, and having a flying car. and a flying car. That was my two big things.
I
And
feel
flying
you.
cars being delayed.
Yeah, well, automated cars are delayed enough, aren't they? So it's the thing.
Good.
You know where I saw drones last night? I was watching a movie, Bad Boys for Life, with Will Smith. And
Oh yes,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
They have a Mavic Pro that they use as their drone. Let's release the drone, and they have it doing all kinds of things in the movie. Anyway, that was cute.
It was the same as did you ever see that awful movie Baywatch, the remake of Baywatch?
Oh, yep,
No.
yep.
No,
And they had a Parrot Bebop 2 in that,
Oh,
which I
God.
love. As you know from my I've got a parrot hanging
Great
up there.
drone,
I love
great
parrot
drone.
drones. And
Yep.
but they obviously decided it didn't look serious enough, so they taped more batteries on it.
Oh God.
And if you look at if you
It's like
find
it looked
if you
bulked
do
up.
YouTube for the parrot drone in Baywatch or something like that, people have clipped it off, and yeah, they've actually put more batteries on it to make it look more of a serious drone. It's hilarious. It's such a. I was like,
And of course, they were just empty cases because they couldn't handle the weight. Put that many. more batteries.
well, yeah. I wonder. I do wonder.
Oh yeah,
it
there it
wasn't.
is.
It wasn't on shot for very long.
They just
All,
stuck two batteries underneath the bottom of the damn thing.
Yeah. It's like, what was wrong with it?
it?
What was wrong with the way it looked anyway?
Roger, what'd you say?
Rotnick says, yeah, actually, your Roomba's called Rosie.
No, I actually have named my Roomba Skipper because it skips around.
It was a shame because I think the Bebop 2 is an awesome little aircraft, and I'm like, why have you stuck that at the bottom? What have you done?
Well,
Right,
Paul,
okay.
Paul and I will tell you guys, if you haven't ever flown an Inspire, that is almost an orgasmic opportunity.
Well,
because
Well,
when that
the
baby
Inspire-
goes up and the arms go up like that, it's like, oh, my
I got
the Inspire V1 secondhand is starting to become so low in price that it's going to become one that I purchase
Oh,
in
yeah.
just to fly it a few times. It's not going to last very long, but
just stick it on your
motors
back
will be
wall
now or
there, right?
something,
So you
but-
have
Well,
it.
and
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of- one of the
exactly. Yeah, it'd be a
reasons-
great backdrop, wouldn't it? So
Oh,
it
yes,
hangs-
it would.
one of the
Yeah.
reasons, Sean, I believe is that when DJI decided not to support it with batteries or replacement parts or new cameras, that was like the death knell because
Yeah.
I used to buy Inspire One batteries for like $149, $159. Now they're like $325 if you can find one.
No, indeed.
What kind of batteries are they inside? Would it be possible to resell them? Put new cells in.
I don't know, Paul. What do you think? I don't.
Well, the batteries are either the T47 or T48. The T48s were the later version, a little more.
But I don't know
amperage.
if can you separate the battery? I think you can. There's a way
Yeah.
to take it apart and probably put new cells in it. But then there again, you get into somebody industrial like you, David, or Hugh. But me, no, I wouldn't attempt that in a microsecond.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't have me
No.
breaking open DJI batteries.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done it.
I'm a user rather than a manufacturer. So
Hey,
okay,
David,
I have
you
to.
open DJI batteries?
I've opened one of my Spark batteries.
Ouch.
Wow.
It
Very
broke. I've got it. I've got the parts here because it's split.
Can
the
I just
cake.
interrupt? Sorry, can I just interrupt you 1 second, David, before because I want to listen to this when I come off. But I'm heading out now. Good to see everybody.
Okay.
Oh,
See you,
bye,
Sean.
Sean. Hey, thank
I'll
you for
see you
coming
next
in, man. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Thanks. I
Hey, Sean,
always,
you
I always
added
love chatting
so
with
much
you guys.
today. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so
Thanks,
much.
thanks,
Ron.
Paul.
I've shown this before. It's
Thank you.
just the three cells,
Yeah.
and it would be to replace them would just be a matter of taking them off the board and putting 3 more cells on. It's not a great deal of hassle. You've got to be careful.
But the question I would have is, did you unscrew to take it off, or did you have to break the
Unclip.
case?
No, I had to unclip the case
Okay.
and take it apart. But the case was damaged anyway because of those batteries. Those cells had a fault on them, and they've
Okay.
expanded and popped the case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but I got a charger for Sawzall. I can't figure out why it won't work. I got power to it, and there's some power going through, but it's not coming all the way through. So I got to buy another one. They want $140 Canadian for one, but I can get a I have to market one for $60. So I don't know.
Well,
And the fix for that charger is probably quite simple.
Yeah, it is. There's one board in there. That's it. There's not that much to it, but
Yeah. But,
Just a minute, I'll be right back. I gotta yell at Mia. She's out laying in the sun again.
Or Mia.
yeah, I got to get going pretty soon. I got to run to Elmer, I guess, and pick up a sign. I've been avoiding it all week, but they said there's no rush. So, but they got a grocery store down there, No Frills, and they got some good, really good deals on. So,
okay.
yeah, they got water on sale and cowboy hamburgers for $8 or something.
now
Cowboy
there's the
hamburgers.
attraction. The cowboy hamburgers. That's where you're off.
It's funny though, I haven't heard the garbage trucks yet.
Well, we were talking about the daft things today, and our first minute. You know, the other day we were talking about when the collections were. We didn't get one yesterday, and we've got one next week, but then we haven't got one the week after. And and the First Minister was up there saying this morning, saying how great the refuse collection people were being, and she got shot down straight away, saying by somebody who said, they're not. You know, theirs was about the same as ours. They sometimes says during the last 3 months we've been lucky to get our bins, our waste bins, emptied once a bloody month, and
Wow.
so she had to retract her statement effectively. But
Look at us. We're amazing. No, you're not.
Yeah, it's funny. I got a text there last night. Somebody wants a sign put up on Sunday. You go, nope, Monday. I'm going away for the weekend. And I got one to put up on Tuesday, June the 29th. I don't know why they give me so early ahead of times, but yeah.
My DJI FPV system went to Alaska. Now it's in Japan. What the hell?
Bouncing all over the place.
My God.
John, I was ordered. Well, no, matter of fact, it was a drone that I got from Paul. It said it went from here to there to there, and it never did. What it was just the office that was dealing with it. But because it said it was in Nova Scotia, well, it never went there. It was the office or something for FedEx or whatever that had sent me a thing, So.
God. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's put it in the wrong box, methinks.
It could have maybe.
Exactly.
I had a quick Google there. You can get the cells for the.
Well, see,
So-
FedEx, yeah, like FedEx goes from China, stops at Alaska to refuel, and then they fly on, I think, to Knoxville, I think it is,
Okay.
from there.
I got something from
Or
Amazon
Memphis.
that
Yeah, Memphis. Yeah.
Canada Post has lost it.
Yeah.
I got a message. Your item may be lost.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Nothing too important, just some household stuff, but still.
Yeah, if you ever watch, actually, Stream Time Live has a camera there at Lake Hood, but it's the Alaska airport, and you'll see all the cargo planes coming in and out. They just go in there and they land, they fuel up, turn around, and leave again. It's the same Stream Time Live as what Paul's watching in the background, but except it's Port Hood, I think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
You're muted there, Paul.
Yeah, it's a seaplane terminal.
Yeah.
And there's a major airport just over the buildings because once in a while you'll see a great big aircraft come in and land.
That's okay. I'm waiting for a package to come from China. I don't even know where it is right now. Nobody sent me any updates, so
I'm waiting for a package to come from China, and it's still sat in the docks in China.
Oh shit.
It's not something I'm in a hurry to get. It's just
yeah, I'm not a particular rush to get it, but I do need it. But okay, well, it's 11 o'clock. I guess I better get my butt in gear, go do something aggressive. I want to head to the trailer in about 4 hours, so
Okay.
I got to go down,
Oh,
go to the grocery store, and
he's off and out and about.
yeah. Well, I got one sign to pick up in Elmer, so go do that, I guess. So anyways, guys, catch you later, right?
Good to see you,
See
buddy.
you, Paul.
Have a
Take
good
care.
Yeah, thanks, Roger.
Thanks for coming in.
Yep. See you later, guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
And there were 4. Oh, I wish I could order a coffee. Can somebody refill this for me? Anybody? I have to do it myself? Okay.
yeah. My refill service isn't here today either. Yeah.
Well, I'm very excited that Parrot may be releasing a new consumer drone. That makes me very happy. Whatever it is, I'm excited because Parrot, I really like their stuff.
Yeah.
I looked at the Anafi, and I think it was about the time I was looking they were pulling out of production
Yeah.
of them, so I didn't jump that way. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I could
I'd feel the
sat here
same
and-
way.
Yeah,
I've mostly played with their toy stuff, the Mambo and the swing, and I loved it. The controls, the quality, the attention to detail. Oh, so
Right back,
nice.
guys.
Roger's gone to get a coffee.
I'm going to get one in a sec too. Yes, I am.
I'm only water.
Oh, you're drinking water today, David?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. They say you got to drink a lot of water, and I do because I drink about 8 or 10 Diet Pepsis a day.
I need to motivate myself to get out for a walk today, but I'm not feeling highly
Well,
motivated, guys.
You, my knee braces are supposed to arrive today.
Oh, good.
It's not
I hope that
coffee, it's
helps.
mail.
My knee braces are supposed to arrive today.
Good.
Oh, yeah?
Do you have pain in your knee all the time? Like you've got osteoarthritis, right?
Yeah, osteoarthritis, pain all the time.
Yeah, me too. I feel it. I'm probably not as progressed as yours, but mine's been a problem since I was 30 years old. So I've been dealing with this for over 20 years now.
My compression socks, my inserts for my shoes, and my knee braces are all out for delivery.
Compression socks, knee braces. Oh, look, I got one for my arm, for my tennis elbow. I'm falling apart, guys. I tell
Yep, yep.
You out of warranty, Hugh?
you. Apparently not. They did give me 2 free new hips, so still under warranty. But it's funny, things have to get to a certain point before they replace a joint, right? It has to get real, real bad.
Yeah.
So like morphine bad, and then they'll replace it here in Canada. Hey, good morning, Bill. You found drones.
And
What's
you
up?
found drone. My cheerful doc keeps telling me my knees should be worse than they are because of my rugby days, but
Oh.
I played rugby in the days when forwards didn't run. I was a prop forward. You didn't run. You walked from scrum to scrum. That was what they did, wasn't it?
Well, I did
No,
full contact karate, and then I did skydiving. So It's just not good for your joints.
No, no. But yeah, he said my back is down to my rugby, and I quite accept that. He said, but your knees should be going as well. And I don't have a problem with my knees. It's my lower
You're
legs
lucky.
that have a problem. Yeah.
Knees are really painful. Like my hips were painful, but the knee is, I don't know, it's a more intense pain. Holy catfish. Bill broke femur, collarbone, ribs, and wrist on a motocross bike. Oh my God.
Bill, how you doing? Good morning, Bill.
Ouch.
There's a stranger coming in. Hello, Rick.
Hey.
I can see you again.
Hey, Rick is here.
Back to a second homestead.
Yeah. No, my eye's been so bad. There's no way I could even look at my phone. So, but it's doing okay today.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So what happened?
How's
You got a stick in the eye?
No, I did the body work on that Dodge pickup, and as soon as I touched the grinder to the rust, got
Oh.
something in my eye. Yep.
Oh.
So
That's not good.
not fun. Yeah.
Hey, Sam, how you doing?
Everybody been out flying lots this week, or?
No, not yet. No, it rained all day yesterday. No, it didn't rain yesterday. Sorry. Very high winds yesterday. Rain day before yesterday. High winds again today. UAV said no flying, but today I don't know what it says.
Looks not too bad here. I'm probably gonna get the Mini out later, but I picked up another truck, a 2010 Chevy Silverado.
Nice.
Yeah.
You gonna
One of
flip
the
it or
guys
just use it?
My mom kind of wants it. It's
Okay.
6-speed automatic, 4-wheel drive, 4-door. There's one of the guys I used to work for. He called me up, and I always told him if he ever wanted to sell it, I'd take it. So didn't need it, but mom really wants a 4-wheel drive for being up on Manitoulin. So
Okay.
she has one of those Chevy Avios, those little cars like JDS drives, little tiny thing.
Hmm.
So we'll get rid of that and give her the truck, and that'll make easier life for 65 years old. She, 4-wheel drive is better. She gets stuck in her car every winter up there and nonsense. So
Yeah.
I'll feel better about her driving something big anyways.
I miss having 4-wheel drive.
Ever since I started running studded tires, I haven't ever needed it. But yeah, without studded tires, I can imagine.
More so for going off just being able to go off down dirt tracks and things and then not worry about it,
Yeah. Well, even on the property, Hugh, 4-wheel drive is really essential, right?
Yeah.
Like,
up where you are.
luckily I got the tractor. I could pull myself out. But that Dodge that I bought 2-wheel drive, I won't take it off the driveway.
Like when I had my Jeep, I used to go places that were breathtaking. So now that I have a drone, I kind of want to go to those places, but I don't have a Jeep to get me there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, one of those e-bike things, you get pretty far on an e-bike.
That's a good point. Yeah.
What's
I
this?
see.
Oh.
Hey, Paul, what would you do for a Klondike bar?
Yeah. You're on mute, Paul. You're on mute, Paul. In case you didn't know.
I went out to the kitchen and I thought, I'd like a little something, just a little something. And then I thought, what would Roger do? So I went for the ice cream.
Well, I'm running low myself. I'm going to get some more.
There you go.
Sam wants to know what you did for the Klondike bar.
Yeah,
I don't want to know.
a cartwheel, and it wasn't on camera.
Ah, damn. Now that I'd like to see.
Which ship you got there behind you, Paul?
That's the Saginaw.
The Saginaw.
It's a classic built in about 1951, I think.
It looks a lot like the Manitoulin. A little different rigging on it, but
Well, there's that was all about the same class or vintage ship.
yeah.
Vintage.
Vintage. Speaking of which,
Speaking of
Yeah.
Lynn told me I
Why
should
did I
be
even bring it up? Why did I even bring it up?
Lynn told me that I should be drinking what kind of juice is it you ought to drink, keep your liver and everything?
Cranberry juice.
cranberry juice. I happened to find some in the back of the refrigerator.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That stuff's disgusting when it's fresh.
It expired in 2017.
oh, dude. Don't tell me you drank it.
Still tasted all right.
No wonder you
Oh,
don't sleep that night.
Damn.
I have children that were born in 2017, Paul.
It tasted okay.
Okay, Bill, lean into
Lynn
the
gave me
camera.
the same reaction.
Wouldn't that be like booze by now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, has it fermented? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Bob?
Oh, don't
That was
start Paul on his old stuff, Bob. Don't.
That was a pretty crazy story you guys were talking about earlier with the guy that got charged for flying over the property, eh?
Yeah.
Interesting to see if he'll appeal it and what happens in the appeals court. Because I know here in Canada, we don't own anything under the surface or above the air. Because
You know
they could come onto my property literally right now and mine underneath me, and there'd be nothing I could do about it.
I hope things go well for this guy, but I hope
Yeah.
we can all take a lesson from it. That when your neighbor asks you not
Yeah.
to fly over their property, don't continue doing it.
Well, the
Right?
whole thing is,
honestly.
I know that he has the right to, but at the same time, like you say, you're just causing shit at that point, right?
Yeah.
You know, anyway, you're causing trouble. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you're already involved in an issue, just don't start. You don't go and stick a stick in a hornet's nest, right? So
Especially if you know the guy is a sheriff's deputy. Obviously, these guys are physical neighbors. They own property beside each other. So, these are
They've
no
obviously bumped
surprises.
heads.
right.
And
Listen,
it's
I've been-
obviously-
I've been
this-
bumping heads with the guy beside me ever since we bought the property. I can't fly my drone over my property. I can't be there when COVID's on. But
Yeah.
I do it over my property, not his.
That's a different story, right? That's your property.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you don't have to get along with your neighbor, but you don't gotta agitate the situation either,
Yeah.
right?
No, when I say bumped heads, I mean on a more serious level than just you and your neighbour. There's obviously some history, some bad blood there.
Yeah.
I would say they definitely have had words before.
Well, everybody's got their opinions, right? And we're entitled to them. You just can't be too provocative when you're dealing with other people, right? Like I haven't put any flights up in 2 years because of the law. I haven't. So that way nobody could say, well, Rich breaks the law.
Right.
So you have to look at the world and think, okay, am I
It's
going to
called being
be
smart. It's called being smart, Rick.
Oh,
You're not a dummy, right? I mean,
it's that very uncommon thing, common sense.
right.
And it's too bad too because it reflects bad upon all of us, right? Like even though it's not here,
Exactly.
the ruling, it sets the precedent for everything, right?
Okay, guys, I want you all to check out everybody's channels. Check out the chat, and we got Gil Skills in here. We got Newcon Drone Productions. We got Sam Hayden. We have John Coopy. Gil Skills. Sam Hayden. Okay, Asgard Studios.
What up?
And here's Val asking a pertinent question. Hi, Val.
Hey Val, how you doing?
How are the lawbreakers today? I don't resemble that remark.
We never break the law.
No. I don't even speed.
I know. Not these days. You can laugh all you like. Having lost my license once, I don't do
Did
it
you
these
really?
days.
Are you serious? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Oh my.
About about 15 years ago.
For speeding?
Yeah, just accumulated points.
How
Oh.
fast were you going?
Well, it varied.
Multiple offender here. Okay.
Yeah, once was this. It's sad, really. Once was at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I got flashed by a camera in a 30-mile-an-hour zone doing 40. And it's a dual carriageway and blah blah blah. Yeah, that was one of them.
Okay.
And another one, I wish I'd taken it to court at the time, but I left it too long. And by the time I talked myself into do it, it was too late. I was stopped in doing 45 and a 40.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Yeah,
Are you serious? They even
Is that
bothered?
miles an hour? Miles an hour or
Yeah.
kilometers?
miles.
What a bunch of arseholes.
45 and a 40, late at night, 11 o'clock-ish at night, pulled over, and the policeman said, I wouldn't have bothered normally, but I see you've got a fair way to go because you haven't got a local plate. And because it's easier just to take the 30 quid fine and blah, blah, blah. It was only afterwards I thought, wait a minute. It might be an Aberdeen plate, but I was only going 5 miles down the road to my house. Should I, because he said that and because it was witnessed, by the time I decided I should go and talk to a lawyer, the lawyer said, you've left it too late.
Okay.
So there was that one, then there was another one, I forget the other one.
That's awful strict.
Yeah.
It was the time of night, and I think he was looking for something to do more than anything else. And
I generally do 10 kilometers to 12 kilometers over the posted speed limit. If it's an 80 kilometer, I'll do about 92. If it's 100, I'll do maybe 115.
Same here.
I'm a good boy these days, Val.
I'm watching him, pal. Don't worry. I'm watching David.
These days, I'm more likely to get done for going too slowly.
Oh, Roger, what you were doing 100 and a 30, weren't you, when you got your...
No.
Now I've never been caught for the times I've been over 100 mile an hour, which is highly illegal in this country. Yeah.
I was doing 76 and 50. But
That's getting there. That's getting there.
But here it's all 100 kilometers an hour. You're allowed to go up to 110. But if you go over 115 or whatever, then they'll stop you right away.
So like the normal 2-lane highways are 100 kilometers an hour there, Roger?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like the
Like that.
it's 100 kilometers an hour. So everybody rolls 110.
Yeah.
And then you got the oddball that goes 130, 140, but they get stopped at the other end. So, there's no cops in front of you.
You still have minimums, right, Roger?
What'd you say?
You still have speed minimums, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's strange about Quebec, eh? You have to be above a certain speed limit too.
They should have that here. People go so stupidly slow. Oh, drive up north, on the island. Some people do like 70 kilometers an hour in a 90 because they're taking pictures.
Tourists.
Or they're texting.
Yeah, that too, Roger. And
Okay, Sam. You take care.
Hey, Sam.
But it's we've got various speed limits, but 70 is about the most. But most people, miles an hour, but most people are doing more than 70 on the motorways when they can.
I look at it, if you take 10%, if you steal 10%, that's not too terrible, right? Like,
But yeah, it's. I saw one guy lose his license overnight. We were going up the M5, which is from the southwest of the country, and we were towing a van, so we weren't in any hurry. We towing the caravan, the trailer, and he passed us on the first part of the M5, and seconds later, blue lights after him, and a few miles up the road, 2 or 3 miles up the road, there he is, side of the road, getting written up. Half an hour after that, whoosh, he went past us.
Again?
I said to Lindsay, some people never learn, do they? And a few miles up the road, there he is again, being written up. And then towards the end of the M5, whoosh, and we just get close to the M5, end of the M5, and there you see him getting written up again 3 times in one night. So he's got 9 points altogether already. So I said to Lindsay, well, it's a shame we're at the end of the M5. We're probably not going to see him because you can go north or south on the M6 or across on the A30 or off on another road. There's a number of different directions. Anyway, we're hardly 20 miles northbound on the M6. And who do we see parked at the side of the road with a blue light there? Getting written up again 4 times in one night.
That's insane. That guy's
crazy.
In one night and about 80 miles total.
How many demerit points do you have down there?
That would be 12 points.
Okay.
and that's enough. That on the 12 points one, you get a notice to go to court, and they take your license off you.
Okay. Here it's 12 points also, 12 demerits.
So it's
I have no idea what it is in Ontario. You know, Rick?
I haven't had a speeding ticket or any. Well, I've never had a speeding ticket. I had one ticket when I was like 18, and I've never.
Yeah, I haven't had a ticket in over 20 years. I don't even know anymore.
Well,
Well,
mine
I-
was a big one, but yeah.
The ticket I got was I made over 30 years. I never got a ticket. I was happy. I
Wow.
was laughing.
Good
When
for
the cop
you.
came to the window, I was laughing. He says, "Why are you laughing?" This was the first ticket I get in 30 years.
Yeah.
First time I get caught in 30 years, in other words.
Yeah.
oh
But
yeah,
he reduced it for you, didn't he, Randy?
Yeah, he reduced it a hell of a lot. Ticket was supposed to be $256, something like that.
Ooh,
But I seen that I was polite to him and everything. I turned my motor off and everything. He says, "Seeing you're so polite and all
Oh,
that." And that's the first
it's
time.
staff being obnoxious to the police. Just
Yeah,
just
well,
be
that never
polite.
helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, "Seeing you're so polite and everything." He says, "I put the $78 and
No,
one demerit
that's-
point."
Okay.
that's fair. That's fair. You know.
Well, I mean, you even saw in his computer. I never got stopped for a ticket for over 30 years. So
Yeah. Well, I paid a $5,000 fine when I was 18, and never again. Never
Yeah.
again. I mean, forget it.
when I was 18, I had tickets about this thick, man. When I got married, my wife says, "Well, guess what? You're working now. Every paycheck, we're gonna pay 2 or 3 tickets off. 2 or 3 tickets
Yeah.
off." So that's how it worked.
I'm just lucky because, I used to have a 1200cc Triumph. And
Yeah.
that thing, I'm not even going to say publicly how fast I went, but I went very, very, very fast.
Yeah.
Any time if they had to stop me, I would have lost my license instantly on the spot.
Yeah.
My
Anything over
$5,000
100.
fine. That's what my $5,000 fine. I had a GT Mustang at 18 years old, so you can do
Yeah.
the math on what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never got caught.
I did.
Yeah, I was lucky.
And the officer even said to me, "I don't know why you pulled over." I said, "Because I figured you'd already recognized the car and you would have just met me at home anyway, and I'd rather do this not in front of my parents."
Did he laugh?
Yeah, and then he called my dad.
But yeah.
Yeah, because I wasn't 19, I was still 18, and you're still considered if you live at home, So,
Okay.
but he was nice. He gave me a $5,000 fine, but let Dad drive the Mustang home.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's painful.
Well, he could have towed it and impounded it for 30 days, and then the fine would have basically doubled with all the impound fees and the tow bill. So,
Oh, yeah.
on one side of it, he did nail me for what I was doing, but he let me off that side of it. So I went and pled guilty in front of the judge, and he actually reduced the fine from $5,000, and I paid $1,800 cash.
Yeah, and you found they do that here as well, but after a certain number of years, the points expire anyway. I
Right.
just and they disappear off your record as well. So I served my ban. The ban stays on my license for a number of years, and then it disappeared off my license. And my license, to all intention purposes, is now clean. There's no.
Did it make your insurance expensive for a long time?
For a while, yes.
That's the big
Like my
thing, isn't
son,
it?
where he works there, every year he has to go to the license bureau, get a paper showing how many demerit points he's lost or anything like that.
Ooh,
Make sure he has a clean driving record.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know what they call that in Ontario is if you drive commercially, you have to have that every year. Yeah, to make sure.
Yeah, he drives commercial trucks.
Yeah.
They call it, in the States here, we call it a CDL license, commercial driver's license.
Okay.
Don
Yeah,
Keepy got
basically,
it too slow.
it's like a synopsis. It just tells them if you have tickets and your history, right?
Yeah.
I just can't remember the name of it right now. But... Let's see what the bench-
Well, for John Cooper, for 2 miles under the limit, my God, that's stupid. Yeah.
That craziness. Eh?
Yeah. That's one thing about leaving your car idling in a parking lot. Oh, if you were in it, you shouldn't have gotten the ticket. But if you leave your car alone and leave it idling and all that, you get a ticket here for that.
Well, you should also get a smack for being foolish.
Yeah, that's it.
In Ontario, yeah, we have a no idling law. Oh my God, the dog's gonna kill the door. We have a no idling law, so you're not even allowed to sit in a drive-through more than like 3 minutes, I think it is, or something.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever known that, Hugh, but we
I
definitely
didn't
have.
know that. No, I
Yeah,
had
we
no
definitely
idea.
have one. I've seen it enforced up north when people are waiting to pull into public parking lots. They'll sit there and wait for somebody to come out,
Come
and
on.
they open the door and nail them. Wow, the dog's.
Oh, here they go into the parking lots, the cops, and check for see if the doors are locked. If you're not locked, you get a ticket.
Ooh.
See, in the UK, they're not allowed to do that because it's so far off the highway. It's public land, and
Yeah.
I'll stop yawning. You're gonna put me to sleep.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know, I haven't been sleeping so great lately the past
Huh.
couple weeks.
'Cause Paul
hi
took it.
Val, it's been a while.
Hey, my little lawbreaker. Hey, Rick. I don't know.
Oh, it wasn't idling? Oh, okay, John.
Roger, you're getting off at noon today because you got to take papers in, right?
Yeah, I got to bring them in for 1 o'clock, so
What are your papers?
I'm not gonna say that.
Tell me.
He's signing up to for stud service. He's gonna be the stud.
All
I'm
the
gonna leave that one
ladies
alone.
in Quebec are waiting.
Oh, waiting.
Party.
Where's Roger? Another lawbreaker on the rise.
Well, he's got that paw, bear, whatever it is, thing
Yeah.
going.
I do.
Got that
And he
damn
puts
thing on.
the cowboy hat on and he goes, woo, woo.
No.
And that French accent,
back
ooh,
now.
wee wee.
Yeah.
The cigarette, uh-huh. Mm-mm-mm. Bunch of law
More
breakers.
junk mail, Roger.
No, this is my CAA card.
Oh, okay.
That's it's when if you stay stuck on the side of the road or anything, you call it, you get a free towing and
Insurance
all
for
that.
towing. Yeah.
Still here, just plugging away, working here. Okay, there, Gil.
Hey, Gail.
Yeah, that's CAA. That's a good thing to have, Roger. I like that.
I've had this since 2000. Since 2000, year 2000. Makes 20 years I got it. And
Nice.
it's been handy quite a few times with my old truck.
Yep.
Oh, it came in handy pretty few times.
My partner has it, and he's actually used it on my vehicle.
Yeah. I can
he-
use it. Yeah, I got my son on it too there. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, my equivalent's personal, so it's for me, not the vehicle. So if I'm in your car, it's valid for it as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what his is too, because he borrowed my truck before and it broke and they towed it.
Yeah.
But he was the one. I wasn't even with him. He had it, right?
I think it cost me about £3 more a year to have that on my policy,
Okay.
rather than just it's this vehicle or this vehicle. Just to have it personal, it's just a few quid more, not very much more, and it's so much easier. You don't have to worry about it. You just
The
Because
one
see,
mom,
this costs us $300 and something. Okay. And with all the gas we put in the 2 vehicles and everything, and my son uses it even when he loads up the company truck, he uses his card. So it costs us about $100 a year for it instead of 300 and something.
Yep.
And payments are $13 a month. So
I was just gonna say the same thing, Roger. Yeah, ours works out. I think about $175 a year we got to pay at the end of it.
yeah.
I've used mine a few times and well worth it every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom loves having it.
What's that, Val? Paul. Look at Val. Look what she's gonna do.
Oh, all right, Val, you got it.
I did. And I went to call you last night, Paul, after I was talking to Kim. I went to call you because I wanted to talk to you about something about it. And I realized it was like 10 o'clock here, which meant it was 12 o'clock there. So it only rang once and I hung it up. I thought, oh, holy hell. That's why you never give me your number. I know Newfoundland. I haven't flown yet. No, because it's still morning for me. And I got up at 7:30 but I went to bed at 2. I just couldn't sleep because I was so excited.
That's
I
very
just
nice.
was Up. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah,
I
she got the
couldn't-
magic.
Yeah, I ended up
Mavic
me
Air
too.
2.
the money that I thought might not come, and I was worried. That was causing me a lot of panic. 'But it did come in, so I was able to
Stop.
Thank you. Thank you, little guy. Look, he has eyeballs.
So you just got it. So did you update it and everything? And
I don't know how to do that yet. See what okay, so here's what I've done so far. First thing is I got a hold of Newfound Drone Productions and said, did you get yours? Because he's waiting too. And
Because,
then I
Yeah,
tried to figure out the bag they give you. Have you guys seen that bag?
yes,
It's like
Yeah.
really tight, and it's like you're trying to wrench everything out of there. And so, Paul, I was going to call you to say, what kind of case did you have? But then I remembered that Jump Off A sent me a backpack, and it fits everything.
oh,
It only
nice.
fits in tidy. So it's perfect. It's perfect. I just fit this right back in my little bag, nice and easy, and it's done.
Nice.
cool.
So now I got to charge things. What I was going to do is just, charge all 3 batteries all at one time, because I hear that's best.
Is that the Mavic Air 2 or the Mini?
Well, you know
Mavic Air 2.
what they said was charge them one at a time.
I know. That's easy.
And
Yeah, so they give you a hub, but tell you to do it one at a time. Why bother?
don't forget to buy your refresh after that, Ava.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to because I'm a little nervous
You only have so many. Did you register yet?
with the FAA.
No, with DJI.
No,
Okay, so once you do that, they will ask you if you want to buy that, but you only have like 24 or 48 hours in order to buy it before you cannot buy it.
Yeah,
okay.
I can no longer get the refresh on my Mavic Air, my original one. They
No?
won't do it after it's 2 years old. They're not doing it anymore.
Because of the age. Yeah.
So do you have to buy it every year?
Yeah.
I was able to get it for 2 years, and that was it.
Yeah, I could see that. They probably figure by then you've already bought a new one. You little drone freaks.
Yeah, and they're not going to have any of the units on hand anymore because they're not making the old ones, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so I was battery firmware. Your battery. Just check. See.
You don't choose the fence.
Okay. Yeah, I was talking to Kim. I was going to fly first thing this morning, but I didn't sleep.
Oh, that's too
My
bad.
dogs got me up by licking my face at 7:30 in the morning. I went to bed around 2, and I was like, oh. So I got up, let him out, fed him.
You want another dog, Val? This one's being a jerk.
Your dog is really cute. I would like him.
Yeah, you want to see my fence?
I can give you.
Look at my fence. He's really cute. Really cute.
Yeah.
Damn.
But
That's
let me
because
tell you,
everybody takes their dogs and they pee and poo right outside the fence, and he thinks he should go over there and eat the dogs.
okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
can't
he's
wait
got
for
it
the
down.
Mavic Air 2. I think both. Sorry to hear that, Bill. Taking you so long to get it, yeah.
I could send you a husky and a labradoodle for your dog.
Well, the husky is beautiful, but the labradoodle, sorry, Val. and that- We're just not ever going to be buddies.
The very cute thing about the labradoodle is he'll get so tired, he'll jump up
Val.
on my bed.
Val,
And
read
he'll
what
play
John
with you.
Coopy's writing down there for you, eh?
Huh?
Read what John Coopy's writing down for you.
I read it. Yeah. Oh, before you end up with melted batteries like Bill Thomas did.
Oh no.
You know what?
Oh,
After I
God.
saw that, I checked out every YouTube thing on batteries. That's why I was going, I'll charge all 3 at once because I'm teasing. But yeah, I saw that and I thought, Holy
It just
hell.
makes sense that you should be able to do that, right? I mean,
You would
charging all
think
3
that
batteries at
all
once, right?
3, but then I
After
thought,
the first time, can you, or not at all because of this fire issue?
No, just they just say that you need to update your batteries.
Right.
Craziness.
But
so
then
you-
nobody knows for sure.
yeah.
You know, it's everybody's assuming that that's what it was. And
Because it's all
I'm-
still.
personally, I tend to believe until it gets those batteries and that drone gets sent back to DJI to be evaluated, I think it's just a case of, just like anything else,
Yep.
out of the millions of batteries that were produced for that drone, that they came across the box when they were filling the boxes. They came across the box that maybe had 100 in it. And on the assembly line, they're just putting 1 with this one, 3 with this one, 1 with this one. And it might have been just a bad batch.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it
that's-
does happen in production cases. I understand, you know, like if quality control lets a couple bad battery or a bad batch slip through, you know, the guy at the end of the line packing them, he's going to package them. So
Yep.
I
get
like
it.
what he says. It happens during flight, not during charging. Well, another thing that I was watching one guy talk about is the fact that you charge it, you fly it, you recharge it right away, you can fly it more if you don't have enough batteries, and you don't let them set and let them cool down.
Well, you're supposed to let any battery like that cool off before. If it's warm to the touch, you should let it cool off before you
Yeah,
recharge.
the spark won't even charge straight away. The
That's
intelligent
right, yeah.
battery on the spark. Yeah.
Hey, good morning, Milan.
Morning, Lynn.
Well,
What is-
then,
Hey,
Is that a popsicle?
Ice cream.
ice cream. Oh, is it ice cream
It looks
time
like
again? Let me go get mine.
chocolate coated ice cream. Mmm.
I've run out.
That's Paul.
Oh,
That's Paul's fault.
Yes, it's possible that the battery firmware update goes through. Okay, I will. So when do you know that's happening? I'm assuming there'll be a YouTube video on it I can watch. This is going to be interesting.
Well, I'm pretty sure when you plug the drone in, it's going to tell you that it's got to be updated. And as soon as you go to do that, then they know that you've validated it, and you'll have your 24 hours to do your refresh if you want it.
So this is what I would be thinking then. If the battery firmware update needs to happen, is it happening inside the battery or inside the drone itself?
Battery.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to do it 3 times because I have 3 batteries.
That's right.
Okay,
Because the battery actually has a little tiny chip in there, right?
yeah. Yes.
intelligent flight battery.
Get off the fence. Stop. You're going to make me give you away. What a freak.
Yeah. Hey, Rick. It's tough sometimes. You got to give that tough love to those ex-wives. You know, you give them away.
I know. Yeah, I keep coming back to this one. Oh, yeah, that's the children thing.
Yeah.
Jesus, dog, keep freaking out. Get off the fence, buddy. Come on. Enough. Right, get the pooper scooper. You don't like it. Oh, you want in now, do you?
He likes his feet left where he puts it.
We got one of those pooper scoopers that have like the pickup shovel thing.
Oh, wow.
So he doesn't like the noise of it, right?
Oh, nice. My dogs decided they want to go right where I put my lawn chair now.
Nice.
So
Oh,
It's like,
that's gross.
really, because they like it. They like to make sure everyone knows this is their territory wherever I'm going to be.
See, I had children and thoughts that they would end up cleaning up the dog poo. That's not the way it works. I just clean up after the children and then the dog. think they
Hashtag
got me.
parenthood.
One day they'll be old enough to go out there and do that for you.
The 14-year-old is, and she wouldn't dare. She even has her own dog and she doesn't clean up after it.
Yeah, let me just say, I get you.
Then you take the dog
Girl.
away. Consequences, right?
Uh-huh. My girl got a Saint Bernard, and now I have it.
Oh, dang.
That's how I ended up with my Saint Bernard.
Because everybody wants a 200-pound dog.
Right?
Everybody. And
They're,
then
they're sweethearts of dogs.
that's
though.
how I got my Labradoodle. Because my son got a Labradoodle and then he wasn't able to keep it. So, and I ended
So your
So I-
kids love you so much that they
Yeah,
bought you
instead of my
pets.
one. Huh?
Your kids love you so much that they got you pets so you wouldn't be lonely.
Mm-hmm. And actually, I love all of them. So and if they ever want them back,
Oh yeah.
I have them now.
And,
Even though this guy's being a poo head, I still love the dog.
Right?
No doubt.
Yeah, so you're gonna keep I'm watching my dog grab stuff, run out of the house with it, grabbed a whole thing of butter, ran out to have a little my Labradoodle. I'm like, oh my God. So I chase him down, go get it. He's all sad because he's like, look what I got though. I can't do anything. I just say, okay. Oh, since DJI Go 4 tells you firmware versions of everything, you know what? If you are not going to fly all 3 of those batteries, don't charge them. Okay, Herman. Yeah, I can't imagine can't imagine being out there
what-
flying for an hour and a half.
In your case, Val, what your best thing to do is charge one at a time. And when you go to go fly the one battery, then charge another one. And then rotate them. I put labels on them like battery 1, 2, and 3,
That's
so
right.
that then you can rotate your batteries, you know which one.
Yeah, that's what I do with the mini batteries. Rich
Yeah.
already had them labeled, so
I did think seriously about getting the mini because that'd be more economically.
No, because of what we talked about, Val.
Yeah, that's
You
why.
won't have
Collision
to upgrade now.
avoidance and Mini's Wi-Fi, and now you've got AccuSync 2, and for the money with that whole package is really affordable.
And it's going to be relevant for another couple of years. That's a great drone. You won't have to upgrade either.
Metro
Oh,
Jones,
great.
thank you so much.
Hey, Metro
Much
Jones.
appreciated.
nice.
Hey, Paul, I sent you a private message.
Did?
Metro Jones, thank
Can
you
you
so much
send
for
it to me too?
encouraging my channel.
You mean the one about Val?
Yeah.
Hey, Metro.
Yeah, I won't mention it to her, Roger. Okay.
Hold on. How come on yours I can only send it to everyone or you, Roger, but I can't send one to Paul asking him to send me the private message?
Well, Roger's got it set up that way.
You know I need to know.
No, it's not, no,
No,
don't
you-
worry.
No
worries.
worries.
Paul. Hey, Paul, come here.
Why?
Now you're starting to sound like Miss Pickle.
See, if you send a private message, you aren't supposed to say, hey, Paul, I sent you a private message. Because then we all wonder who it's about. Is it about you? What did you
That's
do,
right.
you?
No, Val,
gotta get
Tell
the
us,
Val where you
tell
don't
us.
he didn't necessarily excoriate you. He just made a comment, that's all.
Oh, our Val?
What?
What?
John, I saw that last thing on Pusa Studios. Congrats on your 1K.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right on.
Congrats. Very happy for
Nice,
you.
nice,
Mr.
nice. Whoop, whoop.
Welcome to the club, Metro Drones.
Oh, very nice.
What is in front of me this morning?
I'm still waiting for my community tab. It's still a discussion tab.
Oh. Yeah,
I'm very
you.
happy for you, Metro Jones. Yes, sir.
So, David, what did you do that made Roger send a private message?
Me?
He was being mean.
It wasn't about David, and it wasn't about Rick, and it wasn't about Hugh.
Roger.
But Val,
I'm asking
it
Paul-
wasn't about anybody that's on the panel either.
And I'm on the panel.
Yes. So you're
there-
safe.
Not about anybody in the panel, so don't worry about it.
Do a deep cell discharge after 20 charges. Okay. So you keep track. How do you know how many charges you've done?
You can find that in the
You
app.
can go in and look, yeah.
You look at
Okay.
you go into the three dots and you go to the battery settings,
Nice.
and it'll tell you how many times that battery's been recycled, used.
That drone will do everything but open your beer for you.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank God. I fly better with a
Hold
few.
my beer.
I can only envision probably at some point in the future, you know, they've been talking about it on cars forever, that you're going to have some kind of a little blow tube on the side of these controllers. They're going to test you to make sure you're not under the influence before you.
Probably.
Look at little furry.
Yeah, little
He's
pretty
just
boy.
hell. He's just like,
Yeah, look at him.
You know, like that kind.
That's a bear hunting dog, right?
That's
Does
it.
he-
That's what it is.
Does he love you, Rick?
Yeah, he only listens to me. He doesn't much like anybody else. He likes the kids, and he'll sort of listen to the ex-wife if I'm not around. But he's pretty much a protector dog, and he was meant for that, and that's what he does. That's why he chews the fence and stuff. Like, he was never meant to be stuck in this little tiny backyard. When I first got him, he was out running bears and doing all that, right? So
My Mavic can open my beer with a string
string
tied
tied
to
to it.
I want to see video, John Cupie. I want to see video, man.
it.
That would be a
Okay,
good
I'm
one.
gonna tell you, I watched John Cupie's last review on that. I forgot the name of it. Toy drum he was doing, and it looked like he was bashing it into the wall to say it's tough, it won't break. Bashing it in the wall, bashing it in the wall, and all I could think was his fiance is gonna kill him if he goes through a window. He's absolutely look, it doesn't break. Break through the window. But that was a good review, John. I wanted to get one. I thought that would be a fun thing just to kind of tool around with, practice my moves. Anyway, it was good. Oh, look at him just looking out, going, I'll keep an eye out for you, Dad. As Roxy's laying there with her eyes closed, saying, everyone for themselves.
he's whining. He wants in, but I'm going to let him in. Then he's going to paw at the door to come back out because I'm sitting out here.
Yep. Look, yeah, see what I
there's the-
said?
Look at Bear Bear. There's
Like
your buddy.
everyone for
There's your buddy,
themselves.
Roxy.
Sleeping. Roxy, want a snack? You want a cookie? You want a cookie?
Val, I think Roxy's had one extra cookie too many.
Yeah.
Just say.
I swear to God, if you didn't see the white on her, she looks just like an Idaho baker.
No.
She does, like little potato. Oh my God. Snap Train makes turns for kids. Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. Was it the 300? That was a good one. Oh, you gave it to your neighbor? Nice, John. That looked like fun. It did look like fun. Wonder who helped me do the toilet paper delivery bit.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Yeah.
A collaborator.
Aw. John, don't listen to these lawbreakers. They'll get you in trouble. And you're still young enough to be innocent.
Hey now, don't slander me. I haven't broken any laws lately.
Look
Everybody,
at Paul. Laws? I don't need no stinking laws.
Prove it.
everybody, I'll be coming down at noon today, and I'll be on again tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Let me check my watch. We got 2 hours and 10 minutes, guys. So let's liven up the conversation. We got to got me to the top.
little music. Let's do some dancing.
You can do your bear papa.
Is that what you're gonna do? Oh.
That's what he does. Look at him. He's so French.
That's true, bro. Next, yeah.
Mademoiselle.
Good for you, Blind Neil. That's the way to have it, eh?
Nice. I have not been in trouble with the police 24 years. Andrew just got here to work.
Hi, Andrew.
There she is. I mean, there he is. I just
It's already thick in here this morning, Andrew.
Wasn't me, Andrew. Wasn't
Then you
me.
have someone.
It's not you. No, you're in the clear. So, how are you?
Good.
Not bad, not bad.
This is David. We found out he's a big lawbreaker.
Oh, everybody's talking at the same time. Sorry, what was that? AM dial.
Thanks for helping out Metro Jones get to his 1K last night.
Oh my God! Any time, any day of the week, Metro Drone spoils us all rotten, and
Yeah, he's a great guy. Yep.
more than a pleasure. That was awesome.
Oh, Corey, man, are you serious? Yeah. Damn it. Corey's here in Canada. He sent the bloody package to Kim. It's 20 days behind already.
Oh, I know. Canada Post is
Go
really
pick
sucky.
it up and drive it. I think it'd be quicker.
Oh,
That's
man.
the way Canada Post works, though. It's snail mail.
Yeah.
That package had to go all the way to Mississauga and then probably to Halifax and then back to Quebec.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, we do send stuff. I have family that lives away, different parts of Canada. The more I'm hearing you guys' stories, I've never had these kind of horror stories happen before. To be perfect.
Have you sent anything by mail lately?
Okay,
No,
Andrew,
the last 2 months or so, 3 months, I have not.
Okay,
I don't know- I
that's
don't
when
know
it seems
I
to
don't know
get
what you
worse.
call it, but your mic is muffled a little bit.
Oh, for
What do you call it? It's loud.
That wasn't me, Andrew.
It's not clear. I mean, not-
Andrew's going to stop coming here soon.
let me make a change here.
It sounds like you're under a blanket talking to us.
Is that any better?
No, that is worse.
Oh,
I'll be back.
you got a lot of distortion. Got a lot of distortion.
Sorry.
Hey Val, as soon as you told him that, I thought David was going to fall out of his chair.
Why? Am I not allowed to tell him?
No, every time he comes in, he has a microphone problem. It got to the point where he didn't know if he wanted to come in.
We just don't tell him anymore. We just ignore it.
Oh, sorry. I shouldn't have
It's
told
okay.
him. Andrew, come back. It's okay. I'm sure it was just my hearing. Getting bad as I'm getting older. Eh?
Boy, that's funny.
Oh my God. So you're not at your other place then, Rick? You're in town?
I had to come and pick up money today. For
Oh,
that
pick
last,
me up
the last
some.
job I did. I gotta get the final job.
Oh, it's the last job here. I'm thinking that you busted the ceiling and the ex-wife is paying you. Cool.
No.
Yep, I know.
This is a quick turn and burn, grab the cash and go, but I'm not picking it up actually till 4 o'clock.
Okay.
And then once I got here, I figured out that I'm getting that other truck, so now I gotta get a driver to drive it back up there.
Yeah, there you go, bro. Next, yeah.
So let me just say, guys, I'm really feeling really bad about this, but I have to tell you because we need to clear it up. You cannot keep blaming the mail. The donkeys work hard. They have a hard time getting everywhere. So when the mailmen start riding them, they go slow.
It's
Well,
not done. It's
Not
nails.
only that, I heard the stagecoaches were on strike because of the Indian uprising.
Yeah.
I heard the snails ran out of slime, so they couldn't slide along anymore.
See, so there's a whole bunch of reasons.
That's
I really, with Corey Manor just, I think, a couple hours away, I can't imagine why it takes 21 days.
Well, I don't know if Kim told you the good news, what happened yesterday here. We had a guy
With the
coming by.
cable guy?
Yeah. Yeah. But still,
Yeah.
What did he say?
They came by and they surveyed. They're getting ready to put internet in.
Yeah.
I tell you what,
Wow.
if you want it done, send a 6'6" guy out there? He'll get it done.
Oh, this guy was bloody tall. Holy
I know,
shit.
that's what Kim told me.
Like it makes a long time I haven't looked up to a person to talk to. You know what I mean? Now with he said within 8 months there we should have it. But,
Wow, that's all right.
they're
No,
testing-
it's not Bell Canada.
No, it's not Bell Canada.
It's a private company.
Kojiko company.
Kojiko. So they're coming in right now and doing all the survey and checking where all the lines are and marking it all and getting it ready then.
Yeah.
Nice. So that means they're doing it.
Yeah. He came on the property, he put that thing with like a transmitter around it on the post.
Yep.
He took the readings. And yeah, so it's gonna be soon.
What did he say about the kind of internet speeds they're gonna have with this? Did he say it was gonna be?
We're gonna have fiber, Val. We're gonna have fiber, so it's gonna be a lot freaking better than we got now.
Oh, he's gonna put it. So you had to get a different company to come in and put fiber. That's great.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's because of me doing all the uprising here or whatever. I did so many complaints everywhere, so.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
maybe you're
that-
gonna have to thank your parliament person that you were raising.
Well, you watch though. You watch though.
go
They're
too
going to
far,
put it
Paul.
in. They're going to put it into Roger's driveway at the end of the road, and then they're going to have to pay to put it from the road up to the house. You watch. It'll be some scam like that.
No.
No, he came right up to the house.
Yeah, they'll come right up to the house with it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Just the way they've been jerking you around, I figured they'd try something like that, right? Put it to the driveway, and then you got to
Well,
figure it out.
this company's never jerked them around. It's the damn Bell Canada.
But they're a subcontract deal. That's the way it
Okay.
works here, Paul.
everyone. No.
Drum roll.
And-
Uh-oh.
He's using sign language.
Nah. I don't know. My mixing board is not playing well with Zoom.
That's great.
That's
There you
perfect.
go. That's perfect.
It's
I
perfect.
tested it. I wish I could show you on Messenger. Not a goddamn thing has changed. I did a test before I went and restarted my mixer and everything. It's not playing well with Zoom. It seems more like a hit and miss thing. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they did an update. I don't know, but it's really just
So
doesn't seem to be
all you
working.
did was restart Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh my God, John.
It's weird because it clips. We hate to tell you because I know it's annoying for you, but you need to know, right?
Well, you know, and I do. I mean, all joking aside, for sure, and I do appreciate it. I'm more frustrated and I don't know what to do with it. And I literally this time went into Messenger, did a test of my voice as soon as I left here, did all that, then did another test to see. And
It was almost like the gain was turned way up.
yeah, no, and that's what it is. And I think that's maybe what it does. It overshoots the gain on the first one, even though it stays at the same time as the last time I was on the
Yeah.
mixer. Because once in a while, I know what happens is that people are used to my voice with a lot more echo onto it. So that you're used to the flatter sound. That's happened a couple of them. But this one, literally, I went back and listened on it. I heard it clipping too. When I was gone for a few minutes, I went and played back the live stream and then I did the test, but nothing else changed. So I don't know if it's a new update or something that's not working well. I got no
Hey,
idea.
Val, he went back and listened to it for himself. Not that he didn't believe you.
I do believe Val, but this is not the first time it's happened. I'm thankful to Val for it.
Another lawbreaker is all.
Everybody was too afraid to tell you except for Val.
Val will tell you the way it is.
Oh, broke neck. My kids
Oh.
used to watch Zoom.
Did you hear what I was saying about the cable company, Andrew?
Mm-mm.
They did a survey on the posts here, telephone posts and everything yesterday.
Really?
We're gonna get the Koshiko cable in within 8 months.
Very nice. There you go.
Yep,
There you go. Well, their things are looking up. So
yeah.
hopefully they'll do it even before the 8 months. I hope they'll boost it up.
Oh yeah, they can still do it during the winter. It's
Yeah.
on the post. It's don't have to dig up nothing or whatever. They're just gonna put it on the post. That's it. That's all.
Well, that's good. So there.
Yeah.
For
My
us,
son-
for
my
us
son
down
works
here in the States, Rogers winter starts about September the 1st. So that's why he's talking about in winter.
Because my
thought it
son
was-
works for
I
them
thought the-
during the winter, putting the wires up in the post. So it might happen during the winter. So
Go ahead, David. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, I thought it was the end of next week. The winter started there.
Yeah.
Well, it can be. We get snow sometimes in June.
Yeah. And yeah,
Let's not talk about it in case it happens.
now it's the best time for flowers now. The frost warnings are over the area. We're June 25th, 6th. But it was pretty cool last night, though. I had all the windows and doors open. I felt good. I used my blankets last night.
I think it's starting to come back today, though. I feel like it's creeping.
We're supposed to get about 4 days rain. So
Yeah, that's always fun. Hey, if it's good rain, we desperately need it. As long as
Yeah.
it's a couple of days so it soaks in the ground. It
yeah,
doesn't rise up 10 feet and become another humidity belt. That's
that's it.
It's crazy because here everything's so green and we got too much water.
no, that's not a problem. That's the opposite here.
I was
Then
trying to plant.
we got rain for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and
Wow.
Wednesday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I got it right in my book. Kim bitching about rain. Hold on.
Oh my God Almighty!
So starting tomorrow, we're gonna have rain for 4 or 5
Sorry,
days.
Kim. I'm just teasing. It's funny because Kim goes, it's cooler. And I went, oh, it's going to get really cold tonight. I said, so tomorrow morning, Roger's going to be in his sweatshirt with his hood. It's so cool.
That's right. And
I know, for boy, I am a brat. What can I say?
oh, and Metro Drones front, I had left. Thank you very much. And like I said, it was yours. Just glad we could do it with you. That's all. That was really cool. That was awesome. Congratulations once again. That was really cool.
Hey, Andrew, that light that you've got, the blue light,
Mhm.
can you give me a link, an Amazon link or something, if you bought it on Amazon?
Sure.
I'm actually very curious.
Isn't that the light, Andrew, that you bought down in the that district downtown, down there where they have the street?
It's getting thick in here.
I
man.
knew right away when I heard the. I'm like, yeah, here we go. It's gonna be something about. I knew right away without a doubt in my mind.
Murrayism.
That's
Well-
Murrayisms. Yes, that's right. That's it.
Well, usually they sell it as a package with a pole, don't they?
Yes, that's right. You can dance for it's long enough to be a pole. This one.
Lux CEO portable photography
Yeah,
film.
the link's in the chat. That's the one. So
Okay. Oh, thank you.
no problem.
Does it also shoot red as well as blue?
It's
That
just,
is nice.
You select the colors, right?
yeah.
You can make it look like hell if you want.
Yeah, I do.
Hey,
Actually,
drone pool.
I don't know what's going on.
Paul, you should test your microphone with this song. Wink, wink.
Oh,
Oh, Lord.
I know what he wants. Hey, Andrew, he's requesting a phenomenon.
Oh,
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
let me get ready here. You doing it?
Drone pool.
You could sing along, Andrew. Test the microphone.
Oh,
It's 12 o'clock. Shut the stream down. It's 12
yeah,
o'clock.
yeah,
Shut the
yeah,
stream
yeah.
down.
That's it. Abort, abort.
So your background looks purple now.
Yep, there's different mixes between them all. So yeah.
Let's see. Go to red.
There you go.
There. Oh, that doesn't look like that. It looks good.
I got other lights that are better for it. I didn't want to mix them. I already have two of the same kind. I wanted something different. But if you're only using one light, there's a better one I recommend is this one here. I'm terrified now because I know he's coming at any second. That friggin' song. I can't even concentrate on what I'm doing right now. So there you go. This light is the one that I'm using for the yellow above me and across, but it's also RGB.
Oh, wow.
But it's
Oh, man.
brighter. It's more intense.
Okay.
Smaller. So you can check that one out too. That's another they're really good lights. We have one each, one for top of our camera. So
Okay. $130. Does that sound right?
I mean, I got it at that time. I think there was on for 100 or something. I got them. I bought one, and then 4 months later, I bought another one.
Nice.
Nice.
Good lights.
Okay, Paul, let her rip, or we know you're
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah. This is your moment. This is your time. And go.
Phenomena. Phenomena. Phenomena.
There you go.
This phenomena moment is brought to you by Andrew.
There you go. Ethan,
I didn't mute this time.
hey,
What?
get in the water.
Oh, it's Paul.
I want to spare my ears.
John, stop celebrating them. Knock it off.
Paul the Puppet Show. There you go. Everybody, don't forget, I will be on at 8 o'clock tonight. I'm gonna let you guys go in the chat. So have a good one.
Yeah, Roger's got to go do an errand.
Yeah. So everybody
And-
take care. in the
And
chat.
part of that errand, he's got to get a refill on his ice cream sandwiches.
Bye, everybody in the chat. Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
See you
Bye,
guys.
John Poole. Bye,
Take
John.
care, everyone.
Bye,
Bye,
John
now,
Paul, John Coopy.
buddy.
John Coopy, your spot's open tonight. If you gotta come in on the panel and John Poole too. Have a good one.
Take care, everybody.